Chapter 2093. The leveling team is missing one player. Don't log off until you're level 30. The leveling team is lacking a big sister. 4 tall and mighty damage dealers. We're waiting for a big sister. You don't have to kill monsters, just be an EXP baby. Is there anyone who wants to form a team to farm gold? Pull me in. Recruiting. The Moore family, a 4-star family, recruiting active online players. In front of the city gate, many players were shouting. There were also many people who had already left in group. Without White Phoenix's boss, all Yizichin could do was go out and level up. He wanted to buy some blue equipment and sell them for a bit of money. He could also level up at the same time. Boss level instance dungeon quest can be shared. Send a strong damage dealer. Quest completion has a 30% chance of obtaining a hero's heart. The damage dealer will have priority in choosing the boss drop. Also, 1,000 universe credits will be provided as commission. The shouts from the city gates attracted Yizichin's attention. Instance dungeon quest. What's the 30% chance of getting the heart of the brave? Yizichin and Baifeng had already fought 10 bosses, but they still hadn't seen the heart of the hero. Such a tool was extremely rare. If one's luck was bad, it might not even drop after reaching level 500. At that time, they would either have to risk their lives to kill monsters and bosses and try their luck to get a piece of equipment. Otherwise, he would have to collect it. This was a must-have item to leave the beginner village, and the number of people who needed it was definitely not small. The price would definitely be ridiculously high. Collect, it must be those powerful families. Players like Yizichin, who had to rely on the game to earn money every day, could only fight with their own hand. Perhaps he was lucky enough to get a few. Could even be sold for a good price. He wanted to buy higher-grade milk powder for the elemental elves. The person who shouted was a young boy. From his appearance alone, Yizichin felt like he was underage. Becoming a domain master at such a young age, he believed that his talent in real life was definitely not bad. As he shouted, a large number of players gathered around him. Unsurprisingly, they were all here for the heart of the brave. A commission of 1,000 universe credits was not considered much. Yizichin really wanted to try. This was his secret method. If he teamed up with others, he would definitely be noticed. He was still very hesitant. How many people can you share the mission with? Just then, a few players appeared in front of the young man. Their tone was impolite. Overlord Alliance. Yizichin couldn't help but smile when he saw Hegeman Wei. He bumped into it again. 5 people can be shared. The young man answered honestly, we already have 4 people. We're just lacking a strong attacker. If you're willing to come, we can give you 1,000 universe credits. Ha 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 ha! Suddenly, Hegeman Wei couldn't hold back his laughter. 1,000 universe dollars, I'm going to die of laughter. How about this, we'll provide 2 damage dealers. If you give me an extra spot, I'll give you 50,000 universe credits. The young man shook his head. No, we only have 1 seat. Kid, don't be so tactless. Overlord might grab the young man's shirt when he heard the young man's rejection. Don't be so shameless. Have you heard of our Overlord Alliance? I don't know. The youngster shook his head without changing his expression. Interesting. Overlord might smiled and cracked his neck. Then I'll let you know now. As soon as he finished his sentence, Overlord might shouted at the crowd. No one is allowed to team up with them. Anyone who dares to do so will be making an enemy out of Overlord Alliance. The players who gathered around the teenager retreated like the tide. The Overlord's face was filled with arrogance as he looked at the young man before him. See? This is Overlord Alliance. If I say no, who dares to? You want damage dealers, right? Do you think I can do it? The dazzling golden light caused quite a few players to look over. Yizichin, with the dazzling title of number 1 on the heaven leaderboard, slowly walked in front of the young man. I'm very interested. Can you take me with you? Future? The young man nodded. Of course. If even you can't do it, then no one else in the newbie village can. Then, Yi Zichen received a friend request. Flame Rat LV16. Its level is pretty high. Future. Overlord Might's gaze darkened. Yi Zichen looked back at him. Overlord Might. This seems to be the first time we've met. You put a bounty on me right after the game started. I've always wanted to get to know you. Heh, how about we get a friend? Yi Zichen smiled. Didn't you want to put a bounty on me? That's so troublesome. If you want to kill me in the future, I'll just send you my coordinates and you can get your people to come. Look, the number 1 on the leaderboard, Future, is fighting with Overlord Alliance's Overlord Might. The two of them have a personal grudge. It's normal for them to fight, right? Haha, Future Great God is domineering. If you want to add him as a friend, send him his coordinates. Even if Overlord Might shows off, they definitely wouldn't dare to go. Definitely, Future Great God got 10 first kills, he's number 1, and his equipment is definitely the best. Who would dare to kill him? Whoever goes will die. The players discussed amongst themselves. Yi Zichen smiled at Overlord Might, whose face was as black as steel. How about it? Say something? Didn't you want to put a bounty on me? Giving me money for information is just a waste of money. How about you give me the money and I'll give you my coordinates? The coordinates I give are definitely real, there's nothing fake about it. What do you think? Overlord Might's expression changed drastically. He clenched his fist. His eyes darkened. After a long while, he smiled and nodded towards Yi Zichen. You're ruthless. How can I be as ruthless as Overlord Might? I haven't even met you, yet you want to put a bounty on me. I'm just sitting at home and the blame falls from the sky, Yi Zichen shrugged. Don't be too cocky, you won't be able to jump around for much longer. Overlord Might looked at Yi Zichen coldly. I hope we can meet again in the future. When that happens, you can still be as cocky as before. With that, Overlord Might left with his subordinates. Yi Zichen looked at Overlord Might's back. Although he sounded like he was just saying something threatening, Yi Zichen felt like there was more to his words. That person is so annoying. After Overlord Might left, the young man also tidied up his clothes with a displeased gaze. Yeah, very annoying, Yi Zichen nodded. Even if the bounty wasn't there, Yi Zichen still didn't like Overlord Might. This person, his words and actions were filled with a disgusting aura. It was clear that he didn't receive any proper education, and was just relying on his background to get arrogant. People like him, he needed to be taught a lesson. If he met a ruthless person and taught him a good lesson, he would be well behaved. Flame Rat, can you share the mission with me now? Yi Zichen reminded the rat. I nearly forgot. Wait a moment. Then, the Flame Rat pulled Yi Zichen into the team. Ding. You received the Flame Rat's shared mission, Path of the Hero. Difficulty, B rank. Chapter 2094. According to the official website, the difficulty of the mission started from A rank. The mission shared by the Flame Rat was B rank, which meant that there was a certain degree of difficulty. When they entered the group, there were already 4 members in the team, including the Flame Rat. Wow! The moment Yi Zichen joined, a Loli's voice sounded out in the group voice chat. In the future, he'll be number 1 on the leaderboard. I'm not dreaming, right, little mouse? You actually found such a god to join you? Could it be that you've carried out some sort of dirty, shady deal? The girl with the Loli-like voice was a little rotten. Looking at the voice tag in the party, her character name was Meng Luo, and she was a little lowly. Level 16-inch Meng Luo, don't call me a little mouse. The Flame Rat shouted angrily. The little lowly giggled. If it's not, then it's not. Why are you so flustered and exasperated? Did I poke at your sore spot or step on your tail? Alright, Meng Luo. A mature female voice appeared in the party voice chat. Hua Jianro. Level 17. Level 17 was enough to enter the top 100 on the leaderboard. Future Great God, welcome to our team. The woman's voice was gentle and elegant, with a hint of intellectual feeling. Guru, you're not talking. Dream lowly muttered in the voice chat again. Hello. Yi Zichen turned on the team voice chat and said something. Wow, the god is talking to me. Meng Luo shouted excitedly like a child who hadn't grown up. Almighty, which galaxy are you in? Do you have a girlfriend? What do you think of me? All right, let's not disturb the future god. While Meng Luo was chattering away, Hua Jianro spoke. Flame Rat, hurry up and bring the future Almighty here. We don't have much time left. Understood. With that, the Flame Rat looked towards Yi Zichen. Great God, follow me. After leaving the novice village, the Flame Rat and Yi Zichen headed west, passing through the territories of plenty of wild monsters. On the way, quite a number of wild monsters even attacked them. They were all insta-killed by Yi Zichen. Level 24. A full set of gold armor. Fighting some level 10 or so wild monsters was just too easy. He picked up the white equipment and star coins dropped by the monsters on the ground. A fly's leg is also meat. Many a little makes an ocean. Leveling with the Almighty is so comfortable. The Flame Rat had also gotten an EXP boost. If it had been their team, they would have needed 4 people to work together to kill these monsters. Level lead, equipment crush. That was great. Yi Zichen smiled, but didn't say anything. Actually, he didn't kill many of them. He just happened to bump into some and killed some along the way. The Flame Rat did not gain much experience either. In the team voice chat just now, what did he mean by time is running out? Do you have something to do? Or, the mission has a time limit. The Flame Rat explained with a smile. You can't see it from there. When Sis Ro accepted the mission, she asked us to enter within 3 hours. Roughly estimating, there should be less than half an hour left. I see. Yi Zichen nodded. Yi Zichen then followed the Flame Rat across a plain. Within the forest, he saw 3 female players, who were methodically attacking the vine creatures. Jungle Vines LV-20A Level 20 Wild Monster. Yi Zichen stepped forward with his sword, and activated the secret technique. A one-hit kill. The vines directly turned into experience points and drilled into the bodies of Yi Zichen and his teammate. Future God. Meng Luo was a little lowly. As her name suggested, she was petite and cute. She truly was a little lowly. Hua Jianro. It was pretty much the same as Yi Zichen had guessed. She was a mature and beautiful older sister. There was also a female player behind the 2 of them. White. Level 17. She wore a veil on her face. When she felt Yi Zichen's gaze, she merely nodded slightly, then stood behind without saying anything. 3 females and 1 male. The Flame Rat was pretty good. Future, you got 10 first kills in a single day. Number 1 on the level ranking. Although the combat ranking hasn't started yet, I believe that you will definitely be number 1 when it starts. Nice to meet you. Hua Jianro seemed like a diplomat in the team. She reached out her hand with a smile. Yi Zichen also reached out his hand and shook it. Hello. Yi Zichen waved towards everyone with a smile. Meng Luo ran over with a giggle and looked Yi Zichen up and down. I heard that you're a titled level expert, is that true? Some people even said that you're a lord and a sovereign. Are you one? Meng Luo, don't ask randomly. Hua Jianro patted Meng Luo's head and smiled apologetically towards Yi Zichen. Yi Zichen shrugged nonchalantly. However, he remembered Meng Luo's words in his heart. Titled level. Is that what people in the novice village say? I won't say too much. Time is rather tight for this mission. Hua Jianro looked towards Yi Zichen. Everyone else knows the specifics of the mission. Since you don't, I'll just tell you briefly. Okay. Then, Hua Jianro introduced the specifics of the mission. The path of the hero. There were a total of 10 stages. There were 300 monsters in each stage to fight a boss. The initial level was level 21. Every subsequent stage would increase by 1 level. The boss's level was 5 times higher than the monsters. In other words, if Yi Zichen passed, The boss's level would be level 36. It would be best if I can clear it, Hua Jianro smiled. Of course, it doesn't matter if I can, this mission won't fail. What do you mean? This mission is calculated based on completion rate. Passing a stage is 10% completion rate, the monsters on each stage is 5%, the boss is 5%, and so on. Hua Jianro explained. Yi Zichen understood. This sort of person was rather human. He wouldn't lose everything if he failed, he would at least gain something. Then the heart of the hero. Yi Zichen was actually most concerned about the heart of the hero. There's a 30% chance of getting the heart of the hero if you pass. If you don't pass, you'll get the chance based on the completion rate multiplied by 30. Okay. Yi Zichen stopped worrying. He was a bit worried that if he didn't pass, then he wouldn't get the heart of the hero. Since Hua Jianro said that it wouldn't affect it, it was naturally for the best. Otherwise, it would be a waste if he didn't get the heart of the hero. If there are no other problems, then let's enter the instance dungeon. Hua Jianro looked at the others in the team. Yi Zichen indicated that it was fine, so did the others. At that moment, Bai Sei walked beside Hua Jianro and whispered a few words. Whatever. With that, Hua Jianro placed her hand on the trunk of an ancient tree. The scene changed. You have entered the path of the hero. Since the highest level of your team is level 24, the stage level has been raised to level 26. From now on, every level cleared will increase by 100 seconds of preparation time. I wish you good results. Chapter 2095. They entered the instance dungeon. Everyone received the notification. After a brief silence, they looked at each other. Is this my problem? Yi Zichen broke the silence. The initial stage was level 26. The boss was also level 31. If he remembered correctly, when Hua Jianro explained the instance dungeon, she said that the initial stage was level 21. It was an increase of 5 levels. Everyone else's faces turned ashen. With their attacks, it was a problem whether they could break through the boss's defense at level 26. It has nothing to do with you, Hua Jianro smiled wryly. Hua Jianro smiled bitterly. This notification had surprised her for a long time. We didn't think that the instance dungeon would increase according to the highest level and level. It seems like the Virtual World Corporation did this to prevent high-leveled players from carrying low-leveled players. Hua Jianro's thoughts were not wrong. If the levels were average or fixed, then level 500 players would have no difficulty entering the instance dungeon. What do we do now? Meng Luo pouted her pink lips. All of her equipment was level 15 white equipment, while her weapon was blue. She probably wouldn't be able to take a single hit with her attack power. She wouldn't be able to deal any damage. It wasn't just her, their small team was the same. Only Hua Jianro's equipment was slightly better. She held a level 15 golden weapon. It wasn't that their team was poor. Pretty much all the players in this game were like that. It was good to have a set of white equipment. A set of blue equipment and above was either extremely lucky, or they had already started spending money. Someone like Yi Zichen, who was completely covered in gold. There weren't many in the entire game. This was because some equipment couldn't be bought with money in the early stages of the game. For example, Yi Zichen's dark gold weapon. He didn't sell it even after Withered Wood offered 500,000 universe dollars. There were a lot of rich people. However, there was very little equipment. That was the current situation of the game. Since we're here, we have to try, Hua Jianro smiled. Try to fight it, otherwise, wouldn't my 20,000 universe dollars be wasted? You bought it? Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows. Yes, I bought it. There are a few drops from killing monsters in this instance dungeon, but the drop rate is very low. Right now, the average price in the beginner village is around 20,000 universe dollars. Hua Jianro nodded with a smile. So wild monsters could drop this sort of instance dungeon scroll. This was most likely a benefit prepared by the Virtual World Corporation for the players. The drop rate of the Heart of the Brave was too low. When raiding such a dungeon, the hero's heart's loot would be higher, and there wouldn't be too many players stuck in the beginner's village. If you want to buy it, you can wait for a while. After the game update ends, a large number of domain-level players will enter. The number of players in the novice village would also increase, and the number of instance dungeon scrolls would also increase. At that time, it might be more cost-effective to buy it, Hua Jianrou reminded him kindly. Why didn't you wait? It was still the early stages of the game, and the demand for the heart of the hero was not high. We want to level up. Hua Jianrou smiled bitterly. The experience of the monsters in the instance dungeon is double that of the monsters outside. It's more efficient to level up, and there's no need to fight with others. Who would have thought? The rest of his words were self-evident. No one would have thought that the monster's level would be so high. Ding! The first wave of invasion is about to begin. Players, please prepare. It's coming. The flame rat held the battle axe in its hand. As soon as he finished speaking, in this space of about 500 square meters, there were 300 Treant. Treant Guard, Level 1, LV-26 by Say did not say anything. She clenched her fists, took out a bottle of purple liquid medicine, and smeared it on her glove. By Say, go and pull one over to test the waters. By Say nodded. She used a mysterious footwork and pulled one over from the crowd of Treants, but did not affect the other Treants. Amazing! Yi Zichen praised in his heart when he saw that. The Treants were very close to each other, so if they were not careful, the 300 Treants might gang up on them. However, Bai Say relied on her footwork to not attract any extra Trent's aggro. Let's fight. Hua Jianrou was the first to attack. She raised her sword, Dong. Her HP dropped by a little. The Flame Rat and Meng Luo's attacks also dropped HP when they landed on the Treant. We can fight. Hua Jianrou smiled. What she was afraid of the most was not being able to break through the Trent's defense right from the start. If that happened, then they would really be able to directly leave the instance dungeon. Yi Zichen charged forward with his sword in hand. He slashed down. The Trent's HP dropped by a tenth. Yi Zichen looked at the damage. It's good to have high levels and good equipment. It seems like we can only rely on future God, Slipper and us experienced babies. Of course, we won't just sit around. We will try our best to attract the Trent's aggro and control them for you, Hua Jianrou immediately said when she saw Yi Zichen's attack. No problem. Then Yi Zichen slashed a few more times. In less than half a minute, the Treant fell to the ground. The rich experience caused Yi Zichen's experience bar to increase by 1%. He cleared out the 300 Treant. That's about enough for him to reach level 26. Wow, that's too much experience. Meng Luo covered her mouth. It increased by 5% just now. Of course it's a lot when fighting monsters that are 10 levels higher. Hua Jianrou smiled. She also gained a lot of experience. That was even without the last attack. If it was the last attack, then the experience would be even more. It might actually be a blessing in disguise. The guards' levels increased, but their experience also increased by several fold. They felt like it wasn't a loss to freeload a few levels of experience with a god, and even made a small profit. One must know there were teams that sold experience. They charged based on experience. The higher the level, the more expensive the fee. Yi Zichen led the experienced babies to fight level 26 monsters. There were still level 27, level 28, Hua Jianrou estimated. Yi Zichen's equipment would be able to last until around level 31. If they cooperated well, then it might be even higher. The amount of experience they obtained from so many levels was huge. There was even a chance of getting the heart of a hero. No matter how she thought about it, it was a bit profitable. I feel like we can pull a few more. Level 26 monsters were rather simple for Yi Zichen. Even without activating a secret technique, he was still able to fight very efficiently. This was mainly because Yi Zichen's equipment was rather luxurious. A full set of level 20 golden equipment. Wasn't fighting level 26 monsters extremely simple? I'll go. The flame rat volunteered. The experience from eating a treant filled him with motivation. Regardless of Hua Jianrou's orders. This idiot? Meng Luo stomped her feet anxiously. The flame rat charged too hard. He directly pulled 10 odd treants. Under the roars of the other treants, the other surrounding treants also charged over. Yi Zichen looked at the dense group of treants in front of him. Oh my god, I was wrong. The flame rat was chased all over the map by the treants, causing more and more treants to be attracted over. Wang Heng, do you want to die? Meng Luo shouted. Bai Sei let out a deep sigh, while Hua Jianrou sighed dejectedly. We're going to get wiped out this time. Chapter 2096. I'm going to die. Meng Luo gripped her weapon and shouted angrily. The treants that were attracted by the flame rat kept throwing boulders at it. Looking at the treant in front of him, Yi Zichen was also a bit worried. There were simply too many of them. If only there was a fire now, you need fire. The words of the fire elemental spirit suddenly popped up in his mind. Let me do it. Yi Zichen's arm suddenly burst into flames. The sudden blaze stunned Hua Jianrou and the others for a while. Wow, it's fire! How can there be fire? There aren't any skill instructors in the novice village. Nobody has any skills to learn. The classic exclamation naturally came from Meng Luo. The flames burned fiercely. Go! Yi Zichen did not hesitate at all. If he waited any longer, the flame rat would be killed by the Trent's rocks. Flames burned on the treant guard's body. Since the treant guards were of the wood attribute, after coming into contact with each other, more and more treants came into contact with the flames, and the entire trial path turned into a sea of fire. There's an introduction on the official website. This game doesn't allow for class advancement, which means there's no skill mentor. All of the skills need to be self-created, which is to use real-life attacks in the game. Hua Jianrou looked at the flames on Yi Zichen's arm. This should be it. Ding. Congratulations on creating your own fire controller skill. Skill attack power has been determined to be rank E. Please set a skill name for your current skill. The game system notification sounded. Fire controller's skill. During the lesson, didn't they say that only universe levels could become controllers? Yi Zichen had tried using the 5 elements in the Milky Way, which had never failed him. He could release them, but they weren't as turbulent as before. It was a flame that could burn the heavens and earth. When he used it again, it would be about the size of a palm. Shea had explained to him that it was due to the suppression of the elements. The level of the elements in the universe was very high, and the elemental spirits of the 5 elements did not have enough control over them. Right now, the game system determined that Yi Zichen was a fire controller. Does that mean that he can also release this kind of fire in real life? Ding, because you have not set the skill name for a long time, the system has automatically generated it for you. The current skill name is Firewall. Attack power, rank E. As you are the 3rd player to create your own skill, you have gained 50 luck points. He was so engrossed in his own thoughts that he forgot about the naming. Yi Zichen couldn't help but twitch his mouth when he saw the name given by the system. If he was, why did it have to be called Raging Flames Impact? Ding. System announcement will be made soon. Would you like to hide your name? Confirm. Ding. Congratulations to a player from the Galaxy Novice Village who wishes to remain anonymous. You have successfully created a fire controller attack skill, Firewall. The attack power is rank E. Because you are the 3rd player to create a skill, you have gained 50 luck points. A server-wide announcement. He's on TV again. Yi Zichen shrugged as he looked at the notice. Even though he hid his name, he knew very well that this kind of thing couldn't be hidden for long. Moreover, Hua Jianrou and company all knew that the player who didn't want to reveal his name was Yi Zichen. What surprised Yi Zichen was, he was actually the 3rd player to create his own skill. It was not that he felt he was too far back, but that he felt he was too far forward. There were many players in the game. There were many supremacies and overlords. How could he be ranked in the top 3? He really didn't know what those supremacies and overlords were thinking. The Treant guards and the Flames were in chaos. Yi Zichen wasn't sure if the Flames would trigger a one-hit kill. In his opinion, most likely not. Yi Zichen directly charged into the sea of flames while the Treants were in chaos. Dong dong dong, one by one, the Treant guards fell into the sea of fire. Yi Zichen nimbly weaved through the interior and swung his sword as fast as he could. He didn't need to attack the vital points. Just hit them on the body, waiting for the secret technique to be activated. Hua Jianro, Bai Sei, the Flame Rat, and Meng Luo stood outside obediently like EXP babies. Ding, ding, ding. The golden light of leveling up flashed. It feels so good. The Flame Rat could not help but clench its fists as it looked at the jumping experience bar. This kind of leveling efficiency was much faster than those EXP vehicles outside. In less than half an hour, they had leveled up 5 times. He checked the ranking board. 1. Future level 262. White Phoenix LV 233. Hua Jian Ro LV 224. White LV 225. Flame Rat LV 216. Monroe is a lowly LVL 21. Wow, look. Meng Luo jumped with joy. Above her head was the number 6 on the heaven list. 300 Treants. Their levels shot up like a rocket. I just don't have any equipment to change, what a pity. Meng Luo looked at the white equipment she was wearing and twitched her mouth. Don't be dissatisfied. Hua Jianro patted Meng Luo's head. It's already good enough that we can leech experience with a deity. If we were to slowly level up outside, who knows how long it would take. I wonder if they dropped any equipment. Meng Luo looked around. They did, the Flame Rat was very sure. I saw equipment drop on the ground just now. Stop, Hua Jianro stopped them again. Hua Jianro spoke up again to stop them. We didn't even touch these monsters. Future was the one leading us in the fight. We only dropped a scroll, it's good enough that we can be EXP babies, it's too much if we want to split the equipment. Then what about our equipment? Meng Luo blinked. Buy it. Hua Jianro rubbed Meng Luo's face. Your dad loves you so much, just ask him for several tens of millions to buy equipment. That's right, Meng Luo nodded heavily. But who are we going to buy it from? We're the highest level right now. Hua Jianro and company all looked towards Yi Zichen, who was dealing with the last few Treant guards. It seems like we can only find him. Dong, the last Treant guard was dealt with. Lowly human. A Treant that was several times larger than the Treant guards suddenly appeared in the very center of the trial space. Demonic Treant Elder, first floor boss. Level 31-inch, who did you call lowly? Yi Zichen frowned. Lousy is a player that goes on TV every day, you actually called me a lowly human. Wall of fire. 6 walls of fire appeared and directly surrounded the Treant Elder. As the flames burned on its body, Yi Zichen felt like he could smell barbecued meat. Why can I smell this? Maybe I want to eat barbecued meat. Yi Zichen charged forward with his sword while the walls of fire surrounded him. All of a sudden, a surge of power came from his arm. Ding. Congratulations, heroes, you have cleared the first floor. Please prepare for the second floor's attack. Preparation time, 300 seconds. You can end your preparations at any time during this time. Yi Zichen looked at the boss in front of him in shock. Hua Jianro and company were also shocked. After a long while, Meng Luo covered her mouth and said in disbelief. I didn't see wrong, the boss was insta-killed, right? Chapter 2097. Looking at the surprised expressions on the others' faces, Yi Zichen couldn't help but wonder. It would be great if the activation rate of the secret skill could be controlled. Otherwise, the boss would be instantly killed when it was still at full HP. No one could explain it to him. Stay calm. Yi Zichen completely ignored the others' expressions and began to pick up the equipment and cosmic coins on the ground. 300 Trant guards. Almost 20,000 star coins were provided. 9 pieces of equipment had dropped. They were all level 20 blue equipment. The Tree Elder even provided 2 galaxy dollars and more than 700 star dollars. 3 pieces of equipment. 2 pieces of blue equipment and 1 piece of gold equipment, level 25 leggings. Do you need any equipment? He glanced at the others. From Meng Luo's expression, it seemed that she wanted to ask about the boss's instant death. Hua Jianro tugged at her. He gestured for her not to ask any random questions. Then, he walked up to her and nodded with a smile. We do need some equipment, but these monsters were all killed by you. It's okay. You can use it if you need it. This equipment, Yi Zichen didn't need it, and blue and white equipment couldn't be sold for much. It doesn't matter even if I give it to them. What's more, these were dungeon scrolls that Hua Jianro bought. Yi Zichen got them for free, so he wouldn't be too embarrassed to take all the equipment for himself. However, the exposure of equipment here was quite good. There were 10 bosses. If every boss dropped a piece of gold equipment, that would be a total of 10 pieces of gold equipment. This was much better than killing wild monsters outside. If possible, once he got out, he had to collect as many instance dungeon scrolls as possible, even if he didn't have the money. Wealthy 100 Phoenix had one. She needed the boss so much, and there was a boss here. She could level up and possibly drop materials, so why not? Speak of the devil. The moment Yi Zichen thought of Bai Feng, the rich lady sent him a private message. What are you doing? How did you level up so quickly? I'm in a dungeon. Just as he was about to tell Bai Feng about this, Bai Feng came to ask him herself. This instance dungeon gives a lot of EXP, and there are 10 bosses in the instance dungeon. I think you should try to get your people to collect these instance dungeon scrolls. There was a limit to the number of wild bosses. The respawn time was also extremely long. The official website announced that boss monsters would respawn in 72 hours. In other words, they would only respawn once every 3 days. If 100 Phoenix could collect a large number of dungeon scrolls, she would be able to defeat more bosses. Is that so? I'll ask them to collect it now. Don't give it too high. Right now, the average selling price is around 20,000 cosmic credit. It might even go lower in the future, reminded Yi Zichen. Otherwise, he really was afraid that the rich woman would lose too much money. I'll remember. Bai Feng replied. Also, I've already set off. I'll arrive at your place in about 100 days. Get ready. No problem. 100 days was still a long time. Yi Zichen had plenty of time to prepare. After some time, he wanted to earn more money in the game and buy a house outside the school. When the time came, he would arrange for Bai Feng to stay there. If he really couldn't, let her live on campus. In any case, the dormitory of the school's core students was also very large. The chat ended. Yi Zichen looked towards Hua Jianro and company. How about it? Do you guys want it? So, Yi Zichen took out the equipment and placed it in front of them. The equipment was shared. Because the game didn't have any classes, players could wear any kind of equipment. This was also the reason. Many players in the novice village would wear a mix of heavy armor, light armor, and cloth armor. Different types of equipment would have different stats. Heavy armor was more focused on defense and HP. It was bulky and would affect the character's speed. Light armor would provide some agility. Cloth armor would provide some intelligence. A character's equipment had a total of 10 slots. Clothes, pants, shoulders, hands, shoes, weapons, 2 rings, a necklace, and a bracelet. Among them defense. Clothes, pants, shoulders, hands, and shoes. 5 pieces. If all of them were heavy armor, or all of them were light armor, they would provide additional stat bonuses. But it was good to have equipment to wear these days. No one dared to dream about having the highest stats and trying to get 5 pieces of equipment of the same type. Difficult. Even Yi Zichen didn't have a set. Right now, he only had 4 pieces of level 25 light armor and a pair of heavy armor leggings. Oh yeah, and the level 20 gold equipment I changed out of. Hua Jianrou and the other players all revealed a look of desire when they saw the 5 pieces of gold equipment. When they reached the stats level, I don't like heavy armor. Meng Luo twitched her mouth and didn't participate in the competition. This little lowly liked to wear cloth armor. She felt like she was like a little fairy when she wore it. If he wore a set of heavy armor, he would be like an iron warrior. It went against her taste. In the future, we will indeed need these pieces of equipment. Hua Jianrou looked at the equipment on the ground, especially the set of gold equipment that Yi Zichen had tossed down. But there are still many more floors. After we finish them, our levels, understood? Yi Zichen nodded, then put away the equipment. You want to wait until the end to confirm what you need, right? No problem, we'll talk about it at the end. I'm sorry, Hua Jianrou apologized. There's nothing to be embarrassed about. Yi Zichen shrugged nonchalantly. Then we'll talk about it at the end. I'll help you keep the equipment. I mean, we're going to be EXP babies forever. I'm really sorry about that. Hua Jianrou blushed. It's a small matter. It's quite easy for me to beat them. Yi Zichen waved his hand nonchalantly. You guys stay there and wait. I'm going to start the second wave. All right. Hua Jianrou and the others retreated to the corner. Meng Luo tilted her head in confusion. Sister Hua, how did he instantly kill the boss? Aren't you curious? It's probably a secret technique. Hua Jianrou looked at Yi Zichen, who was in front of her. Do you guys remember the person in the Milky Way's novice village who had a secret technique to kill in one hit? I thought it was some other novice village, but now it seems like it's him. Is that so? Meng Luo blinked. Some of the players in the top 10,000 obtained techniques from the overlords and venerables, while others obtained some rare resources. They all think it's good, but they scoff at the secret method. Hua Jianrou squinted her eyes. I thought so too, but now I realize the secret technique is the most important. That's right. Bai Sei nodded as well. Why? Both Meng Luo and the Flame Rat looked confused. The techniques of overlords and venerables can't be bought even if you want to. Can the secret technique be bought? Hua Jianrou pursed her lips and asked. Besides, don't forget that we're only playing a game. What's the use of the martial arts of an overlord or martial highness in a game? Chapter 2098. Wow, Sister Hua. The Flame Rat did not seem to agree. Even if the techniques of overlords and venerables are useless in the game, they can be extracted into the real world. If you can comprehend them, you can at least become a noble. Time, Bai Yu suddenly said. Yes. Hua Jianrou nodded. Time. How long will it take you to comprehend the techniques of overlords? Isn't your father of venerables? Will he hide it from you? How much of it can you comprehend? The Flame Rat shrugged. He did not comprehend anything. The Creator is right in front of you, but you can't comprehend it. What do you think other people can comprehend with just a set of techniques? They obtained the techniques, but they didn't comprehend them completely. The secret technique is different. The secret technique is comprehended directly and integrated into the character. Hua Jianrou explained to the Flame Rat and Meng Luo patiently. You guys saw that he can kill the boss in one hit. Can other people do the same? The Flame Rat and Meng Luo shook their heads. Of course not. The game was all about data. Anyone who killed a monster or a boss would need to lose HP bit by bit. This is the advantage of the secret technique in the game. If others can't fight him, he can use the secret technique to increase the probability of killing him in one hit. This way, his advantage in the game will be much higher than the other players. Moreover, I'm actually wondering if this secret technique can be extracted into the real world. They were dumbfounded. Meng Luo and the Flame Rat opened their mouths in shock. Bai Yu looked calm. Obviously, she had thought of this possibility as well. It can't be. The Flame Rat's face turned pale. If this secret technique is extracted into the real world, it will be invincible. Once it is triggered, it can be killed in one hit. Overlords and venerables will die if they encounter him. That's impossible. Why is it impossible? Hua Jianrou looked calm. Money, equipment, and techniques can be extracted. Why can't the secret technique be extracted? Don't forget that this is a game produced by the Virtual World Corporation. It's special. But the flame rat frowned. He still felt that it was impossible. If this secret technique was extracted into the real world, this person would be able to rule the universe. What alien race? No matter who they were, they would be killed in one hit. You're still too young. Hua Jianrou patted the flame rat's head. It's too easy to think of problems. Actually, this secret technique isn't completely unsolvable in reality. How so? Because this is reality. Hua Jianrou raised her eyebrows. Secret techniques require a certain probability of being triggered. In reality, the overlords and venerables are all proficient in the laws of the universe. Before the secret technique is triggered, he might already be dead. That's true. The flame rat nodded heavily. But it is still undeniable that the owner of this secret technique deserves our attention. Hua Jianrou spoke again. If you can, try to interact with him more. It would be best if you can befriend him in real life. Bai Sei, I'll leave this to you. Bai Sei was stunned. Our Northwest Universe country, publicly recognized as the #1 beauty. Her family background is strong, and her talent is even more exceptional. If you were to make a move, wouldn't it be a piece of cake? Hua Jianrou squinted her eyes and teased. Isn't your family also recruiting talents? He's definitely a stock with potential. Who knows, he might even be a king or marquis in reality. Stop fooling around. Under the veil, one could see Bai Sei's helplessness. Why aren't you going, Hua Jie? I'm engaged. It's not like you guys don't know that I'm about to get engaged, Hua Jianrou said. It's starting again. Hua Jie is starting to show off her love again. The flame rat shouted exaggeratedly. Hua Jianrou's eyes were filled with happiness as she patted the flame rat's head. If Lil White isn't going, then Meng Luo will go. Sure. Meng Luo's eyes were filled with excitement. Let me go. I'll definitely make him my son-in-law. Everyone's expression darkened. Do you know what son-in-law means? I don't, Meng Luo replied confidently. Anyways, leave it to me. I'm still a bit worried. How about we take our time to think about it? Agreed. Hua Jianrou, Bai Sei and the flame rat nodded. What Yi Zichen didn't know was that while he was killing his enemies courageously, the experienced babies behind him were plotting against him. A wall of fire covered the ground. The second floor was still guarded by Treant. It was a level higher than the previous floor. After changing to level 25 equipment, it was very easy to kill them without triggering a secret technique. Still half an hour later, all done. Yi Zichen leveled up to level 27. Hua Jianrou and the other experienced babies also leveled up by more than 2 levels. The boss appeared. Under the wall of fire, Yi Zichen intentionally controlled the frequency of his attacks, in case the boss was insta-killed again. Yet, Hua Jianrou and the others already knew. Approximately 3 minutes later. Secret technique activated. Instant kill. Yi Zichen entered the next floor. Using this method, Yi Zichen dragged Hua Jianrou and the other experienced babies to the 5th floor. He obtained several tens of equipment. It was unknown whether it was because Yi Zichen was lucky, or because he was exposed in the dungeon. Apart from the 1st floor, there was only 1 piece of gold equipment. The next 4 floors all gave 2 pieces of gold equipment. Yi Zichen also leveled up to level 29. Hua Jianrou, the Flame Rat, Bai Sei and Meng Luo were all level 27. They were far ahead on the level leaderboard. The players in the novice village, who paid attention to the level leaderboard, were already numb. They had already guessed that These players who leveled up like they were riding a rocket were definitely in Yi Zichen's team. Otherwise, they really couldn't think of how these guys leveled up. If the four of them were singled out, the players would be very shocked, and might even report them. But if they were with Yi Zichen, they felt like it was only natural. Not for any other reason. Just because he was the future. He was wanted for stealing the Overlord Alliance's boss at the start of the game. Not only did he not disappear, he even got the first kill of 10 bosses in the novice village. Not long ago, he met the Overlord Alliance at the entrance of the novice village, and made them run away with their tails between their legs. I heard that they went to a dungeon. Most likely, they leveled up in a dungeon, right? Yi Zichen did not choose to directly go to the next floor after finishing off the boss of the 5th floor. Not for any other reason. He felt that it was a bit strenuous. The monsters on the 5th floor were level 30, while the bosses were level 35. Yi Zichen noticed that every 5 levels in this game was a turning point. At level 5, the player's equipment could be upgraded. It was as if the monsters were wearing equipment as well, causing their stats to increase greatly. At the moment, Yi Zichen was level 29. The higher the level, the more experience he needed. Previously, he could level up by 2 levels by clearing a floor. This time, clearing the boss on the 5th floor only gave him half of the experience. He might have to clear the 6th floor in order to level up to level 30. However, the problem was that he couldn't do it anymore. He needed someone to pull the aggro for him, so that he could deal damage in peace and wait for the secret technique to be activated. That way, the secret technique would definitely be exposed. Just as Yi Zichen was hesitating, ding, Withered Tree sent him a private message. Chapter 2099. On the Rocky Hill. Level 25 map. It was a team of 10 well-equipped men. In front of them were several stone golem corpses that had just been killed and had not been processed by the system. No one picked up the star coins that dropped on the ground. Suddenly, one of them clicked on the leaderboard and threw the weapon in his hand to the ground. What's going on with the number 1 player on the ranking list? It must be the people from the Virtual World Corporation. They're transferring the data in the background. Don't spout nonsense. How could the Virtual World Corporation do such a thing? Watch your mouth. At this moment, a mature woman in the team frowned. Boss is good friends with him and has already contacted him. Don't talk nonsense. Don't forget that this is also the Virtual World Corporation's game. If you get captured by the Virtual World Corporation, we won't care about you. You don't even allow me to say it. The youth pointed at the ranking board. Look, he's already level 29, and it's only been a few hours. Shut up. Suddenly, an angry shout came from the front. Looking towards the source of the sound, it was surprisingly Withered Tree. At least there's news that Future went to the Hero's Instance dungeon. We've just fought it. You should know how rich the experience inside is. But we're already out. The young man frowned. They went in before us and haven't come out yet. Could it be that they are still killing? What's more, we spent 2 hours clearing 1 floor. I'm asking. Withered Tree quietly waited for a reply. He was right. Yi Zichen's sudden rise in level made it impossible for him to face it calmly. More importantly, he needed to verify something. If it was true, then he would have a follow-up plan. Almighty, are we still fighting? Meng Luo waved her little fist excitedly. In just 3 short hours, her level had risen by a whopping 11 levels. Now that she'd tasted the sweetness of leveling up, she decided that after this was over, she'd go out and continue collecting scrolls, then invite Yi Zichen over to fight. Wait, a friend is looking for me. Meng Luo nodded obediently, then silently retreated to a corner. Friend, are you trying the hero's dungeon? Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows when he saw Ku Mu's private message, then looked at the level leaderboard. That's right. Which floor are you on now? We're almost at the 6th floor. For a long time, there was no reply from Ku Mu. Yi Zichen didn't mind too much, and looked towards Hua Jianro and company. I need your help, Great God, tell me. I'll do anything. Meng Luo ran over excitedly. Yi Zichen couldn't help but smile when he saw how excited she was. Actually, it's not that hard. I just need you guys to pull the aggro, while I deal damage from behind. No problem. Meng Luo nodded heavily. Hua Jinro, Bai Sei, and the Flame Rat walked over too. After being experienced babies for so long, we finally have a place to put our skills to use. We will try our best to pull the aggro of the monsters, Hua Jianro said with a smile. Please. With that, Yi Zichen glanced at them. I'll open it now? During that time, Yi Zichen had already taken over the position of team leader, while the others nodded in agreement. Yi Zichen also clicked challenge. Cough cough. The withered tree in the rubble coughed violently. Boss! The others gathered around, and Ku Mu knocked on the head of the youth who had provoked them. Why did you hit me? The young man felt wronged. I'll be back in the future. Ku Mu sat on a rock while the others became interested. The young man asked urgently, How is it? He's clearing the hero's instance dungeon. How many levels? Immediately open the 6th level. As soon as Ku Mu's voice fell, everyone's eyes widened. Impossible. The young man immediately shook his head. Our team is at the top of the novice village in terms of levels and equipment. We only cleared 1 level after fighting for 2 hours, and we haven't even fought the boss. Why does he have to open the 6th level? There's no need for him to lie to me, Ku Mu shrugged. That means he's a supporter of the Virtual World Corporation. Boss, I'm telling you, I did my homework when the game was updated. For this sort of virtual game, the game company would always have supporters. It's all so that the players in the game can top up. The young man replied righteously. Are you an idiot? The only female in the team slapped the young man's head. The slap was very hard, and the sound was like a watermelon being smashed. Female character. Black hair LVL 22. Sis. The young man held his head. Green River LVL 22. Does this game have an entrance to top up? Green hair frowned. Supporter? Does the Virtual World Corporation need a supporter? I don't talk to the brainless fans of the Virtual World Corporation. Green River curled his lips, covered his head, and ran out. Who are you calling brainless? Green hair raised her hand. Stop messing around. Ku Mu stopped the siblings, then let out a deep breath. Actually, I've been wondering if you remember the Milky Way Novice Village, where someone obtained a secret technique to kill in 1 hit. Everyone nodded. Actually, I didn't think that person would be in our novice village. There are tens of thousands of novice villages in every galaxy, some even more than hundreds of thousands. But this future had White Phoenix. It made me wonder. They might be the ones with the secret technique. Ku Mu pointed at his own equipment, as well as the others. Our equipment is all from him. Think about it. How did he and White Phoenix manage to kill so many high-leveled bosses by themselves? This game is LVL 5. The stats of monsters will increase greatly. I went out and asked many friends, understanding the situation of other novice villages. In other novice villages, I didn't see anyone who could kill bosses 10 levels higher. Why can they? The only possibility is that one of them has a secret technique. This dungeon, without White Phoenix, Future's level soared, and he even reached LVL 5 of Path of the Hero, preparing to challenge LVL 6. Part of the reason is that his equipment is excellent, but the other reason is that he is the one with the secret technique. Everyone nodded. Ku Mu had always been their core, and everyone felt that there was no problem with his analysis. Boss, what do you think we should do? My relationship with him is not bad. Dead Tree smiled. I can try to get in touch with him. You all know that this game is very important to all parties. Overlords, venerables, monarchs, they all join their own forces to build momentum. But building momentum in the outside world is still outside. Building momentum inside the game is the main point. There are many unaffiliated players in the universe, and the stronger the game is, the more people will join. Everyone nodded. Kumu narrowed his eyes. Return to the city and collect the dungeon scroll. When Future comes out, I will invite him to lead us in Path of the Hero. Chapter 2100. He wanted to recruit talents in the game. There are many ways, good benefits and a strong background, but the easiest way was to get on the list. The leaderboard. The higher one was on the leaderboards, the more players from a certain faction were on the leaderboards. There was also the first blood. The first clear was permanently recorded in the system's probability. Players could check the history of the game at any time to see the first clears in the game or clear the first clears. A series of events worthy of being recorded. Have this. Naturally, the unaffiliated players in the game would come because of the fame. According to the official website, when players reached a certain level in the game, other leaderboards would appear. If he wanted to occupy a spot on the leaderboard, the most important thing was the level. The higher the level, the higher the ranking on the level rankings. The higher the level, the better the equipment. When the combat strength rankings began, the higher the ranking would be. In the end, levels were the most important thing in the game. Furthermore, the faster he leveled up, the faster he would be able to leave the novice village. Everyone knew that leaving the beginner's village was the true beginning of the game. Withered Wood's thoughts were very simple. They'd asked Yi Zichen to lead them through the path of the brave. There was a chance to obtain the heart of the hero. He could also level up, so why not? Boss, can you really contact him? Green River shouted in surprise. He really wanted to get to know this novice village of the Milky Way, a famous future. He also wanted to verify it. Did he really fight his way to this level, or did the Virtual World Corporation tamper with his data? There shouldn't be a problem. Kumu hesitated for a while. He wasn't sure either. According to his estimations, his relationship with the future was not bad as long as he gave a suitable commission. He shouldn't be rejected. Ding. System announcement. Congratulations to the Galaxy's Novice Village. A player has successfully reached level 30 in the future. As this player is the first player to reach level 30 in the Galaxy's Novice Village, the system rewards 20 luck points. Ding, because a player in the Milky Way Novice Village has reached level 30, the faction ranking is unlocked. All the players in the Novice Village in the Milky Way received this message. He checked the ranking board. Future level 30-inch F***CK. Sitting on the ground, Blue River frowned. This guy's actually level 30. His leveling speed is way too fast. Gumu didn't say anything and directly opened the ranking list. 1. God Domain 2. Nebula 3. Blue Shield Family 4. Demon Tower 5. Overlord Alliance. The ranking of the factions within the game was similar to the factions outside the game. Outside the game, it was based on the strength of the people who joined the faction. In the game, it was based on the strength of the people who joined the organization. Of course, another fundamental difference was that the external powers of the game were the entire universe, a total of 3,080 universe countries. Within the game, based on the current progress of the game. Just a certain novice village. It wasn't the strength of the entire game. Ranked 4th was the force that Kumu and the others belonged to. Devil Tower. Boss, we're ranked 4th in the novice village. What is there to be proud of? Deadwood was not complacent about this result. In one of the novice villages in the Milky Way, it's only ranked 4th. In the entire universe, how high can our Devil Tower rank? We have a lot of people in the other novice villages. Azure River muttered in a low voice after being reprimanded. Are the others all here? Kumu asked coldly. When Azure River heard this, he didn't say anything else. What Deadwood said was right. The members of the other factions were naturally scattered. As a matter of fact, the current ranking of forces, it was no different from children playing house. All in all, there was no point of reference. The true ranking was after leaving the novice village and calculating the rankings of the universe. That was when the true competition between the factions began. The level rankings were the same, and the combat strength rankings would be the same. However, the rankings during the novice village period couldn't be ignored. The strength of the casual players in the universe was immeasurable. Only by absorbing more players in the novice village would they have a place in the universe. Kumu and the others were ranked 4th. This ranking wasn't high, but it wasn't low either. However, Kumu was far from satisfied. He wanted to be number 1. From the faction rankings, he kept looking at the top 50. The only one worth paying attention to was the Overlord Alliance. None of the other factions had any impression of them in the game's official external faction rankings, which meant in this novice village, there weren't any overlords, knights, or universe country leaders. There might be, but they weren't doing well in the novice village that Kumu was at. Under such circumstances, if he didn't develop well, Kumu would feel sorry for himself. I wonder who the top 3 factions are. Will there be any future factions among them? Kumu looked at the rankings and thought for a long time. Maybe I can try to invite them again. These unknown small workshops aren't suitable for staying in them in the future. Demon Tower. It wasn't a big faction, but it wasn't small either. The Demon Tower would appear in almost all virtual online games. It was one of the more established factions in the game. More importantly, the Demon Tower's ranking in the external world was always around 100,000. Don't underestimate this ranking amongst the millions, or even tens of millions, or even hundreds of millions of factions. Being able to rank above 100,000 was a very high ranking. Demon Tower. It had 3 king-ranked experts, 15 king-ranked experts. Regardless of whether it was in the game or not, they had a lot of power. Kumu was one of the people in charge of the Demon Tower. He had the authority to take in elites, and could offer a very high price. If he was willing to join in the future, he could ask the higher-ups to invite him into the Demon Tower with the highest treatment. Yizichin let out a deep breath. Kumu, who had already opened the chat with Yizichin, clicked close. At that moment, Yizichin was focused on dungeons. What he wanted to say to Yizichin, no matter if it was to invite him to play the path of the hero or invite him to join the Demon Tower, they were all things that needed to be done seriously. If he went to find Yizichin now, not only would it affect his dungeons, the time they had to negotiate and consider was too short. It wasn't a suitable time. Boss, when are we going to dungeon with the future? Azure River, who was scolded, came over again. There was no helping it, seeing Yizichin level up so quickly, he was also tempted. Hurry, hurry, hurry. Tian, you're the most impatient. Do we have dungeon scrolls now? Kumu shouted. No. The young man scratched his head. Hurry up and get them. Withered Tree roared angrily. Chapter 2101. Remember in 1 second pen divided by fun wonderful pop-up window free reading. The other members of the Dead Tree group hurriedly took out their return talismans. This kind of return talisman would drop when fighting monsters, and the drop rate was not too low. There were players in the novice village who specialized in selling return talismans. One return talisman cost 500 star coins. A white light flashed. Everyone returned to the novice village from the rocky hill. Only now did Qing, he let out a long breath. What's wrong with the boss? Why is he so angry? The others also shook their heads slightly. During this period of time, Kumu had been very moody. Sometimes, he would be smiling in 1 second, and the next second, his face would turn ashen, as if he was about to kill someone. Maybe it's because our Devil Tower's ranking has exceeded his expectations. Qingxi pursed her lips. I heard that the Devil Tower gave Withered Wood a lot of pressure this time. Is it because of that guy? He seemed to know some inside information as well. He narrowed his eyes and clenched his fists tightly. Ever since that guy took over, he's been looking for trouble with the boss. In my opinion, instead of staying in the Devil Tower and being bullied, it's better to leave the Devil Tower. We have tens of thousands of old brothers. No matter where we go, others will be happy to accept us. Qing Si did not refute Qing He's words. The expressions of the others were the same. Perhaps in their hearts they also felt that this might be better. That's enough. Keep the scroll. Qing Si smiled faintly and ended the conversation. Help! Great God, I can't take it anymore. The flame rat lived up to its name, covering its head and scurrying away. At this moment, the Treant elder was chasing after him. Diant. In the past, Yi Zichen would always scoff at the boss's voice. Anyone who said something like that, he would most likely die in less than 2 minutes. Yet, Yi Zichen felt like the tree elder's words were so fitting. It was really, they were too insignificant. This was the 8th stage of the instance dungeon. The boss's level had reached a shocking level of 38. His attributes were ridiculously high. Yi Zichen had already reached level 30. When he leveled up to level 30, he didn't have much equipment to upgrade. He exchanged for 2 level 30 accessories and a level 30 weapon. Weapons. Dark gold rank. Dark gold weapons had 2 attribute bars. Armor break. 5% chance to reduce enemy defense. A heavy blow. 3% chance to stun the target. Its attack was also about twice as powerful as the previous weapon. When he first switched to this weapon, Yi Zichen had an easy time fighting. At the very least, without triggering the secret technique, he could still attack and reduce his HP. On the 8th floor, his attacks still had some effect on the Treant guard. Unfortunately, the flame rat and the others couldn't hold on any longer. Now, monsters didn't even need to do anything. Just a light touch was enough to kill them. They pulled monsters with trepidation. If it wasn't for them pulling aggro, it would have been very hard for Yi Zichen to get anything out of them. The demonic Treant elder chased after the flame rat relentlessly. Yi Zichen did not dare to waste any time. He stood behind the elder and continued to chop at his feet. Just then, the secret technique had arrived. A surge of power flowed into his arm. The sword fell. The demonic Treant elder fell heavily to the ground. The flame rat that was running in front saw a huge black shadow. Boom! Ding! Your team member flame rat has died. Before anyone had the chance to celebrate passing the 8th floor, looking at the system notification, they were all dumbfounded. The demonic Treant elder died. The flame rat was squashed to death by the Treant elder's corpse? Is there a need to be so depressing? Wow, I can't take it anymore. The flame rat, who was exiled from the dungeon, screamed. The Virtual World Corporation is sick, right? The monster is already dead. How can it be squashed to death by a player? Seriously, it's very realistic, Hua Jianro giggled. Hua Jianro said with a smile, if we kill the extraterritorial clans outside, their bodies will be preserved after they die. They might accidentally squash us to death. TSK, the flame rat twitched his mouth. Since he was exiled from the dungeon, he couldn't be a happy experience baby anymore. What a loss. His mind was filled with the Treant elder. He really wanted to eat his flesh and sleep on his skin. I'll use an axe to chop it to pieces, then use it to make fire. What if the flame rat went out? Meng Luo blinked and asked. How about we stop here? Yi Zichen smiled. I already had a hard time on this floor. Even if I continue on the next floor, I probably won't be able to last long. Since the great deity has spoken, how could we dare to disobey? Hua Jianro squinted her eyes with a giggle. Let's stop here. F***CK. Suddenly, the flame rat's exclamation sounded out in the team voice chat. Hua Jia, look, we're ranked 2nd on the faction leaderboard. Hearing that, the others clicked on the leaderboard 1. Divine Domain 2. Nebula. Yi Zichen also raised his eyebrows when he saw the name. Nebula. I feel like the name is pretty good. It really is. The lowly Meng Luo also waved her hands excitedly. It was clear that she was truly happy. Just now, all of them had been single-mindedly pulling aggro. They couldn't afford to be distracted at all. The huge amount of experience caused them to forget about the leaderboard, and only thought about pulling monsters to level up. It's very normal for us to be ranked high. Hua Jianrou calmed down after a brief moment of joy. Our levels are higher, so we might have a certain advantage. With that, Hua Jianrou looked towards Yi Zichen. Future great deity, this divine domain can't be yours, right? No, Yi Zichen shrugged. How could it be? Hua Jianrou frowned. Your level and equipment are far above the other players. Just you alone should be enough to insta-kill the other factions. You hit it? Yes. Yi Zichen nodded with a smile. Keep a low profile. F***CK, if it isn't the future great deities faction, then where did the number 1 come from? We're all level 29, and the highest in the game is only level 25. Why are they ranked higher than us? The Flame Rat shouted in the team voice chat. We have fewer people, Hua Jianrou replied. Flowery Ro replied, maybe there are a lot of their players here. Also, we haven't changed our equipment yet, so our equipment score isn't high. That's why we're ranked second. That's right. With that, Hua Jianrou suddenly looked towards Yi Zichen. I understand. Yi Zichen understood her meaning with a single glance, and took out all of the equipment from his backpack. Here. Future great deity, we won't take this equipment for nothing. Hua Jianrou squinted her eyes with a smile. We'll use money to buy it. Of course, it's real money and not in-game money. No need. Yi Zichen waved his hand. We have to, we didn't participate in the killing at all, we don't deserve all of this equipment, Hua Jianrou insisted. That's so embarrassing. Yi Zichen frowned and let out a deep sigh, then told her his Universe Gold card account. Transfer it. Chapter 2102. Remember in 1 second pen divided by fun wonderful pop-up window free reading. Everyone froze. Using such a righteous expression and tone, but secretly providing an account. Was this really okay? We're prepared to take all these level 25 and above blue and gold equipment. How many do you want? Do as you see fit, Yi Zichen smiled innocently. 20,000? Hua Jianrou asked tentatively. Hua Jianrou raised the price once again when she saw Yi Zichen's speechless expression. 30,000? When Hua Jianrou saw Yi Zichen's expression, she understood that he felt that the price was too low. Didn't you say you'd give it to me as I see fit? Didn't he say that he didn't need to pay before? How much do you want? It's up to you. Yi Zichen rubbed his hands with a smile. He was in desperate need of money right now. The elemental elf's milk powder needed to be upgraded. He had been in the universe for so long, but he had yet to purchase a suitable weapon. For the future of the galaxy, he also needed to buy slaves. It was not that he was stingy, but he had no choice. He needed money. Look at me again. Hua Jianrou muttered in her heart. She just wanted to give it to him, but Yi Zichen didn't agree. He had thought that Yi Zichen was pretty good before. He had the demeanor of an expert. He didn't expect her to be a money grubber. Taking a deep breath, Hua Jianrou started online banking in the virtual network and made an instant transfer. Ding, respected Universe Gold card user, your account has been credited with 200,000 Universe dollars. Please take note. He was making money again. Yi Zichen swore that this was one of his favorite notifications in his life. 200,000 Universe dollars. He could buy a lot of star-level slaves. If he earned more money, he would be able to upgrade the milk powder of the elemental spirit. They ate well and grew up quickly. As a father, he was also very happy. If he could get a few more elemental reverse nurtures, it wouldn't be difficult for him to break through to the star rank. He could also consider cosmic system state slave. Throw a few at the Milky Way galaxy and station them there. Very good. Thank you for your patronage, boss. Yi Zichen smiled honestly, then pushed all the equipment to Hua Jianrou's side. From now on, this equipment belongs to you. Hua Jianrou was confused. What does that mean? The level 25 equipment was pushed out, and the rest of the equipment was taken away. What's wrong? Aren't you only buying level 25 and above? Noticing Hua Jianrou's expression, Yi Zichen took out the equipment he put away. Do you need it? We can talk about it later. No need. Hua Jianrou practically squeezed out the 2 words through her teeth. He took a deep breath and suppressed the fire in his heart with great difficulty. Go and hand in the mission. Ding. Congratulations, your party has completed the Path of the Braves challenge. Completion rate 80%. Obtained 40% of the current level's EXP. Gone. Yi Zichen was stunned for a long time as he looked at the system notification. With an 80% completion rate, he had a 24% chance to obtain the hero's heart. He actually didn't? He did give a lot of EXP, but if he did not give Heart of the Brave, did you use the Heart of the Brave? Yi Zichen asked. The others also shook their heads. It seemed that none of them had come out. A 24% chance was not low. Not even a 5-man team could obtain the Heart of the Brave. How unlucky. At that moment Yi Zichen rubbed his hands. Since you guys bought equipment, then the equipment you had before is useless, right? How about giving it to me? Ours are all white equipment, Meng Luo blinked. White equipment can be sold for money as well. Even if no one buys them, you can get a lot of star coins by selling them to an equipment store, Yi Zichen replied seriously. Sure, I'll give you mine. Meng Luo took off all her equipment without thinking. She did not have a single piece of equipment on her at the moment. It was fortunate that this game, even if she took off all her equipment, she still had some cloth clothes to cover the important parts. Otherwise, Meng Luo would be completely seen. Here. Meng Luo walked over with the equipment in her hands, but was stopped by Hua Jianrou. Don't give it to him. Stingy. Yi Zichen twitched his mouth when he saw Hua Jianrou's expression. Never mind if you don't want to give it to me, we'll meet again. With that, Yi Zichen did not leave immediately. Instead, he stayed at the mission location and killed vine monsters for a few more days. He only used it after getting a city return sigil. Miser! Hua Jianrou muttered in her heart. Meng Luo was very confused. Hua Jia, why didn't you give the equipment to the future god? Since we have no use for it, it's not a big deal to give it to him, right? Why? Hua Jianrou frowned. We have no use for it, Meng Luo blinked. The flame rat also nodded. I also feel like it's not a big deal to give it to the future god. He helped us level up so many times. Bai Sei, Hua Jianrou looked towards Bai Sei, wanting her to say something fair. I don't think so either. After a long while, Bai Sei finally spoke up. Hua Jianrou looked at the surrounding people speechlessly. What? Do you guys still think that it's my fault? That I'm stingy? Didn't you guys see him just now? Perhaps the future god lacks money. Meng Luo's thinking was very simple, but sometimes, this kind of simplicity was closer to the truth. We don't lack money, so just give it to him. Hua Jia, there really isn't a need. Bai Sei hesitated for a moment. Bai Sei hesitated for a moment before saying, because future brought us through the path of the brave, our levels have been raised. Right now, we are at the top of both the level ranking and faction ranking. This is a very beneficial method of promotion. Yes, I've already received a lot of friend requests. The flame rat nodded. Hua Jianrou looked at the friend requests that she had ignored. Tens of thousands. That was right. Being on the ranking was indeed a good method of promotion. It would be much easier to promote one's faction. Take these friend requests as an example. If all of them were absorbed into Nebula, just based on numbers, Nebula would be invincible in this novice village. Even if they left the beginner village and entered the universe, their beginner village was strong, while the other beginner villages were slightly weaker. They could neutralize each other. Their overall strength would not be too far off. We just teamed up with Future. Actually, we should take this opportunity to invite him to fight again. I believe he won't reject it, Bai Sei said. That's right, Hua Jianro realized that she had not thought through her actions earlier. Alright, I was wrong. What do you guys think? Go and collect the dungeon scrolls as soon as possible so that Future can fight with us a few more times and gain an advantage in the early stages, Bai Sei replied. Alright, I'll go and collect them. Meng Luo, you have a friend with him, right? Go and contact him. I think he has a good impression of you. Hua Jianro shrugged. Meng Luo smiled and nodded. Immediately, no way. Why? Hua Jianro frowned. She felt that Future would not be so stingy. Would he not bring them along just because of what happened earlier? The Future God said that he has a date, Meng Luo said. Chapter 2103. Remember in 1 second pen divided by fun wonderful pop-up window free reading. You have an appointment? Hua Jianro was surprised. Less than 2 minutes had passed since Yi Zichen returned to the city and Meng Luo came to find him. He's not trying to fool you, is he? Hua Jianro frowned while Meng Luo frowned. I don't know either. Why don't you ask? Meng Luo said with clear eyes. Without much hesitation, Hua Jianro sent Yi Zichen a message. Not long after, she bit her lower lip with a strange expression. How so? I have an appointment. Hua Jianro gave the same reply as Meng Luo. He said that Tianhai invited him to play the Path of the Brave. Tianhai? The flame rat frowned. I've never heard of it. Tianhai, I found it. Right then, Bai Sei walked up to them. Tianhai's character information appeared in front of her right hand. SkyC LVL 20. Affiliation. God Realm, God's Domain? The number 1 power in God's domain, the flame rat exclaimed. It seems like the leaders of the forces in our novice village have already thought of the path of the hero from our sudden increase in level. They also know that we were brought here by the Future. White's eyes revealed an inexplicable smile. Everyone knows what the rankings mean. This person called Amami is a smart person. It's my fault, Hua Jianro suddenly apologized. Sister Hua, it's not your fault. According to my observations, the Future isn't a petty person. He won't fuss over what happened in the past. You can only blame the newbie villagers for being too quick, Bai Sei comforted. In fact, this situation was not surprising. Those who had a certain understanding of the game knew what it meant to be on the leaderboard. If he wanted to spread his influence, occupying the rankings was the most important thing. Bai Sei, what do you think we should do? Among Hua Jianro and the others, she was the oldest. When faced with certain things, she could be considered mature. In terms of composure, Bai Sei was actually the calmest among them. Even Hua Jianro's elders felt that Bai Sei was a little too calm. He gave off a feeling of maturity. Of course we're going to collect the scrolls and invite Yi Zichen to attack us. I'll tell him now. Hua Jianro didn't hesitate at all. In less than 30 seconds she said. He said that after the fight with Tianhai, he also has an appointment. Let's continue then. Bai Sei frowned. Do we have to find him? The flame rat was a little hesitant. We have the equipment now, so we can give it a try. Of course I can try. Bai Sei did not reject the flame rat's suggestion. The question is, how much can we fight? In the future, we'll need the secret technique to reach the 8th level. How many floors can we fight? 3 or 5? Also, how efficient are we? It will be much slower, Hua Jianro said. That's right. Perhaps we can keep challenging them through the number of scrolls we have. The problem is, we've been playing for 10 hours and we've only cleared 2 floors. In the future, you'll be able to clear 8 floors in 10 hours, and you'll be 4 times more efficient in the middle. Looks like I have no choice but to look for him. Hua Jianro let out a deep breath. Bai Sei also smiled and nodded. That's right. That's why we need to make an appointment as soon as possible, because fire might be even busier in the future. Meng Luo. All of a sudden, Hua Jianro raised her eyebrows and said, We have to carry out the plan to make him your son-in-law as soon as possible. Understood. Meng Luo nodded heavily. even though she didn't know what son-in-law meant. By say, didn't you tell me that someone was following the flame rat and company before you entered the dungeon? Why can't I see anyone? Hua Jianrou suddenly recalled what Bai Sei said to her before they entered the dungeon. They probably ran. Bai Sei shrugged. We're almost level 30, would they still dare to come? At the bar in the newbie village, the content of the second world was very rich, and the entire game was not just about boring leveling up. There were also bars and other leisure places in the game. It was just like the name of the game. This was the second world of the humans. You're pretty lucky. Yi Zichen, who sat in front of the table, looked at the middle-aged man in front of him with a smile. Tianhai LV-20. God Domain. My luck has always been very good. Tianhai's expression revealed an incoherent confidence. Level 20. He was an above-average player in the game. His level was not worth mentioning in front of Yi Zichen, but his equipment, a full set of level 20 golden equipment. To be able to have a full set of level 20 equipment at this stage. A rich person. From what Sire said just now, if I'm not wrong, someone contacted you to play the path of the hero? Tianhai asked. A lot. In this short span of less than 5 minutes, Chen Xiaobei's eyes lit up. Yi Zichen received tens of thousands of messages from strangers. This game forbade strangers from bothering him. Of course, if you had money, then this restriction would not exist. Force private messages. 5-star coins per message. Players could also set a restriction to force private messages. For example, you could set it to 50-star coins per message. The system would transfer 50% of the money to the game account of the person who sent the message. From Yi Zichen's point of view, this was pretty good. If there was really something urgent and he couldn't add someone as a friend, then spending some game coins to send a few messages would save him a lot of trouble. Or who he wanted to scold, spend money to scold. He could blacklist the person scolded. If he was brave enough, he could ignore them and earn money from the scolding. Yi Zichen had only just found out that he could set a limit. Thus, he immediately increased the limit to 500 star coins. As for Tianhai, he was someone he found in the boundless amount of private messages when the system set the limit. He was very lucky. Just a little more, he persevered and sent more than 2,000 private messages. Yi Zichen was moved by his perseverance. Yi Zichen added him as a friend. 500 star coins. Even now there are still many people like you coming to find me. Yi Zichen didn't hide it, because the current situation was beneficial to him. At first, he was a bit confused. Very quickly, he understood the root of the problem with his many years of gaming experience. These people all had their eyes on the leaderboard. Hia was the key to getting them onto the leaderboard. Since that's the case, then I won't waste your time. I'll transfer 50,000 universe coins to you right now. We won't take any of the dungeon's equipment. Ding, respected universe gold card user, 50,000 universe coins have been transferred to your account. Please check. A message from the Universe Union Bank arrived. I already told you the conditions. I'm not sure how many floors I can get through, but I can guarantee 5. I know. If you can continue after 5 floors, then I won't let you do it for nothing, Tianhai nodded. 50,000 universe coins was the price of the first 5 floors. Yi Zichen did get to the 8th floor with Hua Jianrou and company, but his level also increased by a lot, so the initial level of the dungeon would also increase. As for how many floors he could get through, he wasn't sure either. He got Tianhai's response. Yi Zichen squinted his eyes and smiled, then reached out his hand. Pleasure working with you. Tianhai was clearly stunned. Perhaps he had never encountered this sort of situation before. However, after a brief pause, he also reached out his hand. Pleasure working with you. Chapter 2104. Remember in 1 second pen divided by fun wonderful pop-up window free reading. Yes, for God's Domain to occupy the number 1 position on the God's Domain faction list. Yi Zichen was filled with curiosity. It was really, the level of their people was frighteningly low. At the start, Yi Zichen thought that Tianhai had entered the game rather late, so he was only level 20. The other people in God's domain had higher levels. Yi Zichen never would have guessed that after Tianhai brought their so-called elites over, they'd be able to kill him. Greetings, great God. Carter was level 17. Hello, great God. Shirley Tower LVL 16. Guru. Spartan Warrior LV 7. That's right, the last Spartan warrior, whose name was particularly resounding, was only level 7. He handed in the path of the Braveheart quest. 40% experience allowed Yi Zichen to level up to level 31. When he fought against Hua Jianro and company last time, although their levels were lower, at least Yi Zichen's level was lower. Only 24. This time, Amami's team. He really wanted him to be a hired thug. Excuse me. Tianhai laughed. Most of us in God's domain have only been in the game for a short period of time. In truth, I was one of the earliest to join the game. However, I only joined after the game update. He just joined the game and he's already ranked first on the power rankings? Are there a lot of people in the novice village? Not sure. Tianhai shook his head. Of course, it's not that I don't know how many of us we have. I just don't know how many people we have in this novice village. How many? Yi Zichen asked. About 4,000. Tianhai laughed. Actually, the number here is considered low. Some novice villages have more than 10,000. Yi Zichen was shocked. The novice village in the second world was completely random. In other words, no one could choose their birthplace. Under normal circumstances, every novice village had at least 10 players from their own faction, and that was already quite good. He was considered lucky to be in the top 100. There was almost no one in the top 1,000. Tianhai said that they had more than 4,000 people here, and the other novice villages had more than 10,000 people. Pardon me for asking, but the number of people registered, too many to remember. Amami laughed as he shook his head. But we can roughly estimate that each novice village has several thousand people. Fuck. What was he trying to do? Are they trying to dominate the second world? Each novice village had a few thousand people. If nothing unexpected happened, they would be able to rank first in every novice village. It was a little too terrifying. Are we entering the dungeon now? Tianhai asked with a smile. Sure. As soon as he finished speaking, Tianhai confirmed his challenge. You have entered the path of the hero. Since the highest level of your party is level 31, the checkpoint level is raised to level 36. In the future, every time you clear a floor, you will gain one level. 100 seconds. I wish you good results. The familiar system prompt appeared in front of everyone. Yi Zichen stared at the notification, level 36? The last time he was level 24, he only opened it at level 26. Is there a problem? Tianhai couldn't help but ask when he noticed Yi Zichen's expression. Yes, a little. Yi Zichen licked his lips. The level is a bit high. Is it high? Tianhai was taken aback for a moment. I understand now. The last time you entered, the levels didn't increase like this, right? That's right. I can explain that. Tianhai smiled. I found a few subordinates to try out a few scrolls. The opening levels all start from 1 or 6. What do you mean? Yi Zichen didn't quite understand. For example, if you are level 11, then the starting level is level 16. If you are level 15, then the opening level is still level 16. However, if you are level 16, then the opening level is level 21. If you are level 20, then the opening level is still level 21. Yi Zichen understood. Level 5 was a dividing line in this game, so the dungeon was set up in such a way that the opening of the dungeon was a level higher than other players. That was to increase the difficulty of the dungeon. Yi Zichen's level 24 last time was actually rather high. If he was level 21, then he would fail after a few floors when fighting level 26 monsters. But now, that was the problem he was about to face. His promise was to clear 5 floors, but Yi Zichen didn't know if he could fulfill that promise. If you think it's too difficult, we can leave. Tianhai maintained a smile on his face. No need, just give it a try. The scrolls were bought with money, it would be too much of a waste if he didn't even do it. What's more, this could be counted as Yi Zichen's first real job as a professional. He didn't want to leave a bad impression on his customers and affect his future business. Alright, then let's give it a try. With that, Tianhai gave the team leader position to Yi Zichen. Since they had already discussed it before, everything that dropped from the dungeon belonged to Yi Zichen. Level 36 monsters. Wow, I'm going to die, the Spartan warrior laughed. The Spartan warrior grinned. He was only level 7, and if he fought a level 36 monster, he would probably level up by 1 level. Yi Zichen let out a deep breath. Actually, Yi Zichen wasn't completely confident in clearing 5 floors. However, the first 4 floors shouldn't be too much of a problem. Begin the challenge. All of a sudden, a pile of stonemen appeared in the training space. Gee, are the monsters different? Stoneman Guard level 36. The name didn't change too much, it was still the suffix of guard. Yi Zichen stepped forward with his sword. Ding! With 1 strike, the Stoneman Guard's HP decreased sharply. I feel like there's a difference in their attributes as well, Yi Zichen muttered to himself. Although the Treant Guard's HP was higher than the Rockman Guard's, its defense was higher than the Rockman Guard's. Could it be different scrolls had different challenges, and the monster's attributes also had their pros and cons? This was only Yi Zichen's second challenge. He needed to fight a few more times in order to prove it. Yi Zichen killed the Stoneman Guard with 2 strikes without activating any secret technique. When the Stoneman Guard died, Yi Zichen's experience bar increased by a pitiful 0.3%. Killing 300 level 36 dungeon monsters wasn't enough to level up. The experience needed to level up was truly huge. This was only level 31. How was he supposed to level up to level 500? Couldn't he level up for a year? However, Yi Zichen forgot that this was a cosmic game. The lifespan of humans in the universe was already very long. A year's time was equivalent to a day on Earth. Leaving the novice village in a day was already very fast. F***ck, I leveled up, the Spartan warrior shouted. Hearing that, Yi Zichen looked over, and saw that the guy really leveled up to level 8. He had only thought that a monster might level up. He didn't expect a monster to level up. Boom! Flames burned. Countless walls of fire were placed in the middle of the stonemen. The stonemen had a certain resistance towards fire elements, but they were still damaged. Yi Zichen also held his longsword after placing the walls of fire. This is nothing. Yi Zichen smiled towards the Spartan warrior. I'll let you experience the rocket leveling method. Chapter 2105. Damn! Inside the trial grounds, the shock in God's Domain's elite's eyes had reached the extreme as they watched their levels rapidly rise. 2 hours, in just a short 2 hours. The Spartan warrior, who was only level 7 when he entered the trial ground, was now level 28. Kite and Primogenitor Tower were already level 28. Tianhai was level 29. He successfully entered the novice village's heavenly ranking. This kind of efficiency was truly astonishing. As the Golem Elder fell to the ground, the 4 of them leveled up again. He then stored the star coins and equipment into his bag. The first 4 levels of the trial had ended. Yi Zichen didn't find it particularly difficult. What he cared more about was the 5th floor. A level 40 monster. In terms of monster attributes, it was equivalent to an increase of 2 levels. He didn't know if Yi Zichen, who was still wearing level 30 equipment, could hold on. Just as Yi Zichen opened the 5th floor, the Galaxy Novice Village was in an uproar again. As expected, the Great God is leading the God Domain people to fight. In the Novice Village, Meng Luo looked at the rapidly increasing levels of the God's Domain members on the leaderboard, as well as Yi Zichen, who was also steadily increasing in level. 2 hours. That's fast, the flame rat said. At the same time, the flame rat's tone was filled with envy. He had experienced the thrill of being an EXP baby. After becoming an EXP baby, he was no longer in the mood to level up. What was the point of leveling? Playing for 10 hours might not be as efficient as someone else playing for an hour. Hua Jianro looked at the rankings silently. He checked the scrolls in his bag. How many scrolls have you received? After a while, Hua Jianro looked at the other members of the team. Flame Rat, 3. Meng Luo replied, 2. 5, Baisei replied. I also received 3 here. Hua Jianro pursed her lips. We have a total of 13 scrolls. Meng Luo, contact your future almighty and tell him we have to queue up. In the meantime, in the VIP room of the auction house. Boss, we've already collected more than 20 scrolls. Azure River looked at the number of instance dungeon scrolls on the table and said, there's enough. Moreover, it's not easy to collect instance dungeon scrolls in the beginner village. Of course. Withered Tree answered matter-of-factly. We're not the only ones who want to buy scrolls in bulk and look for the future. Anyone with half a brain would have thought of this. I've already lined up with future. During this period of time, try to collect as many as possible. We must ensure that after he leads us, we can maintain an absolute lead in terms of levels. But the scrolls have already reached 50,000. Qing, he said. Even if it's 100,000, we'll still take it. Kumu frowned. Just listen to me. Everyone, go out and collect the scrolls. The members of the Magic Tower in the VIP room left. Qing Si was left in the VIP lounge. Seeing her expression, Kumu couldn't help but raise his eyebrows. Under normal circumstances, this kind of expression from Qing Si meant that she had something to say. What are you worried about? I'm thinking that a few of the major forces in our novice village have set their sights on the path of the brave. Green Hair exhaled deeply. As a result, everyone is buying scrolls without restraint, and their goal is to search for the future. Don't you think this is a good sign? Are you trying to say that in the future, only one family will dominate? Kumu asked. Yes. Green Silk looked at Future, who was already far ahead of the others on the ranking list. He's leading people, and his level has never stagnated. Right now, he's already level 32. If we fight against each other, we will be pulled further and further away from him. There's nothing we can do about that. Kumu licked his lips. How could he not know about this outcome? Even if we don't search for it, others will definitely search for it. Then, not only will we be pulled away by Future, we will also be pulled away by others. AI, hearing that, Green Hair sighed deeply. From her perspective, this was a vicious cycle, and there was no way to deal with this vicious cycle. I'm going to collect the scrolls. With that, Green Hair left the room. Kumu clenched his teeth and opened the private message with Yi Zichen. Bro Future, I've already waited for a long time. How many more levels will it take before it's our turn? Level 5 is over. Fortunately, I didn't disappoint you. Yi Zichen smiled towards Sky C when the boss of the 5th floor fell. I didn't expect the person with the secret technique to be you, Sky C smiled. When they reached the 5th floor, Yi Zichen's equipment was practically unable to break through his defense, so they would have to activate the secret technique if they wanted to kill him. At first, Yi Zichen wanted to hide it. However, when he thought about bringing others with him in the future, the secret technique would eventually be exposed. This kind of thing couldn't be hidden anymore. Furthermore, if the leaders of other forces knew that he had a secret technique, it would be more beneficial to his future business. With the secret technique, there was no need to worry about Yi Zichen losing. As long as he wanted, he could clear all 10 levels. Yi Zichen and the others were simply taking what they needed. You need to rank up. If you want to get on the leaderboard. Yi Zichen needed money to buy resources. The 5th floor that we agreed on has been completed. If there's anything else, please contact me at any time. Yi Zichen smiled, then prepared to leave the dungeon. Wait! Skycy stretched out his hand. Since you have a secret technique in the future, why don't you continue? I can pay you 100,000 universe credits for the next 5 floors. How about it? No need. Yizichin grinned. 100,000 universe credits was not a small amount, but for the current him, actually, it wasn't much. Some people are already waiting impatiently, and the first 5 levels have already offered a price of 100,000. We will meet again if fate wills it. Farewell, everyone. With that, Yizichin turned into a beam of white light. Yizichin clicked to submit the Path of the Hero instance dungeon. 25% experience, 15% chance of obtaining the heart of the hero, but he still did not get it. Interesting. Skycy smiled as he watched Yizichin leave the instance dungeon. He looked at his position on the heaven ranking, as well as the person who was so far ahead that no one could shake his position. Future. Your Majesty, the Spartan warrior walked over. The Spartan warrior walked up and said, "What should we do next?" The future has already shown that someone is deliberately raising the price. This is not good news. At that moment, the Spartan warrior and the other 2 people did not look like the newbies they were before. Actually, their contact with Yizichin this time, it was just a probing contact. Now that the test was over, they were certain that Yizichin did have the ability to lead the path of the hero alone. Just let them do it, Skycy smiled. I, Skycy Ikong, have never been afraid of anyone when it comes to money. Your Majesty, you want to, I will slowly talk to him. You guys go and help the others level up. I don't think they will be able to reach us in a short period of time. Try to use your level advantage to help the others level up as well, said Skycy. Understood. Chapter 2106. It was a pleasant cooperation. Please contact me again if you are satisfied. The 5th floor is over. Happy working with you. Your experience vehicle has arrived. Yizichin had already spent close to 20 hours on the path of the hero as he went back and forth. He was now level 37. He was fully equipped with level 35 dark gold equipment. Extravagant. As for the levels of the others, it was no longer important. There was a saying in the novice village of the Milky Way: the future is the manipulator behind the scenes of the level rankings. No matter how hard you try, even if you leveled up day and night, Yizichin's experience car could easily surpass their effort. He wanted to level up and find the future. I'll let you enjoy the thrill of the heavenly list. Wow, I can't take it anymore. Yizichin logged off the game after dealing with the last car of people. He didn't care how many people didn't reply to his private messages. How many people were still waiting to fight? Mr. Yi. When Yizichin logged off, Bai-in, Bai-yu and company had already logged out of the game, and were chatting happily in the living room. Bai-in quickly went to prepare a cold drink for Yizichin when she saw him log off. Thank you. Yizichin caught the cold drink and drank it in one gulp. Yi-ji, you've been playing for a long time. It's been almost a day and a night. Bai-yu blinked, then ran over to massage Yizichin's back when she saw how tired Yizichin was. Bar came over in the middle, but since he saw you playing games, he went back. Yizichin sat down on the sofa listlessly. He was really exhausted. After more than 20 hours of high-intensity combat, he did not stop for a single moment to level up. Even though virtual games didn't require physical strength, but it was also a kind of destruction to his spirit. Yizichin felt a bit of a headache when he thought about how there were still a lot of matches that he hadn't played yet. He suddenly realized that he had been a little thoughtless when he accepted the order. He would go online after he rested. He would not accept any more orders. He would consider whether or not he should continue to accept orders after the ban was over. Fortunately, there was no money to earn during this period. When Yizichin saw the balance in his Universe Gold card, he couldn't help but smile in satisfaction. 2 million. He had earned about 1 million gold coins from bringing people to level up, and he had also sold the equipment from the dungeon for more than 1 million gold coins. Until now, there were still a lot of equipment in his bag that he hadn't sold yet. Before going offline, he thought of asking Deadwood to take over. When Yi Zichen recalled that he still hadn't brought Withered Tree with him, he didn't go look for him. He actually had an idea. I want to open an equipment store. It couldn't be helped. He had too much equipment. There was a limit to the number of items that could be put on the auction house's shelves. He couldn't just stay in the auction house 24 hours a day and wait for a piece of equipment to be won before putting another one up for auction. What's more, the auction house had a processing fee. If he had an equipment shop, he could throw all his equipment into the shop. However, the game's official website did not announce whether there would be a shop where players could purchase the items. Beiyu, what level are you now? I'm level 14. Beiyu giggled and nodded. I didn't really understand it at first, but now I have a rough idea of how to play. Leveling up is also faster. Good luck. Yi Zichen patted Beiyu's head, then put on the anonymous helmet again. This kind of helmet was too troublesome. He had to save up enough money to buy an AI. Otherwise, if he wanted to enter the virtual network, he would need to wear a helmet. If someone sent him a message through the virtual network, he would not be able to receive it immediately. The main reason Yi Zichen logged off this time was because it was almost time to meet Blackbase. Logging into the virtual network, Heiji did not send him any messages. How much longer? Yi Zichen sent him a message. Half an hour, Heiji replied instantly. Mr. Yi, are you getting a bit impatient from waiting? I need to explain. When I was choosing slaves, I specially found some with better aptitude for Mr. Yi, so I wasted some time on them. Thank you, Yi Zichen replied. This is what I should do. Yi Zichen closed the chat with Heiji and saw White Phoenix's message. Where are you? Why did you log off? I waited for you for 10 odd hours. What are you doing? Over 100 messages, all of which were sent after Yi Zichen logged off. Big sis, let me go, Yi Zichen smiled wryly. I've already played for nearly a day. Let me come out to rest and catch my breath, right? How long? White Phoenix replied. About 2 hours. He still had to go buy slaves from Heiji later. That would take quite a bit of time. So long. Very soon. You can come down and relax during this period of time. How can I relax on the spaceship? When Yi Zichen saw White Phoenix's reply, he recalled that she had already set off. All right, I'll try my best to get online earlier, Yi Zichen smiled wryly. Hurry up. Big sister White Phoenix's urging stopped Yi Zichen from slacking off. He hurried to the rendezvous point with Heiji. When he arrived, Heiji was already waiting for him. Mr. Yi. Heiji, Yi Zichen nodded with a smile. Where are the slaves I need? Hearing that, Heiji snapped his fingers. The pitch-black spaceship's hatch opened. From the hatch, 15 human-looking slaves walked out of the spaceship. 12 men and 3 women. Mr. Yi, these 15 slaves are all from the Iron Titan Galaxy. I believe you know that the Iron Titan Galaxy is a galaxy of war. The people of this galaxy are generally warlike and extremely talented in combat. Heiji walked up to one of the muscular men. He reached out and patted the man's chest a few times. Look, their muscles are like steel bars. They're extremely tough. If you're in danger, you can let them be your. All right. Just as Blackstone was about to introduce the slaves, Yi Zichen stopped him. He didn't know why, but Yi Zichen felt like he was trading livestock. These stellar-level powerhouses, they were like livestock waiting to be handed over. Their inner dignity had long since been trampled on. All right. Heiji seemed to have sensed Yi Zichen's mood, so he patted the muscular man. You've met a good buyer. Yi Zichen handed 45,000 cosmic dollars to Heiji. Heiji waved his hand with a smile, then boarded the spaceship and left. Yi Zichen looked at the people in front of him. From now on, you will follow me. Yes, master, the muscular man nodded. I don't know how other slave buyers treat their slaves, but I won't interfere too much with you, nor will I do anything too excessive. You will still have freedom to a certain extent. Freedom? The dozen or so slaves all stared at him. For slaves, freedom was the most extravagant thing in their lives. Come with me. Following me isn't a bad thing for you. Chapter 2107. Back at the core student dormitory. More than a dozen slaves were following behind him. Bai-in was startled when she saw them. Bai-in. Mr. Yi. This is the slave I just bought from Heiji. When the word slave was mentioned, the expressions of the slaves all darkened, but Yi Zichen did not explain further. Help them find a place to stay. Bai-in had the status of a butler at Yi Zichen's place. She took care of Yi Zichen's basic necessities, and occasionally took care of some trivial matters for Yi Zichen. We might not be able to stay here anymore. After all, this was the school's dormitory. Even if the core students lived in a small manor, the area was not small. However, Curry, Bai-in, and the others were already staying here. There were not enough rooms for another 15 slaves. Then let's go buy a place to stay. Yi Zichen took out the golden card. Bai-yin's hand couldn't help but tremble when she saw the golden card. Last time, she used a gold card to buy elemental crystals. She was so scared that she couldn't recover for a few days. Bai-in, you can't always be like this. Yi Zichen frowned when he saw Bai-yin's expression. You will have a lot of time with me in the future. I need to give you a lot of things to deal with. You have to remember, you are no longer that planet shell that can be trampled upon. You are one of my Yi Zichens. Yes, Mr. Yi. Bai-in nodded. Go find a bigger house, preferably one that can accommodate tens of thousands of people. After that, I'll need you to help me buy some goods. She told Bai-in the list of things she needed to buy. Bai-in nodded solemnly to indicate that she remembered. Then Yi Zichen sat on the sofa and put on the anonymous helmet. You guys stay here for a while. Bai-in looked at the other slaves with a smile. Don't think that Mr. Yi is a little cold. He is actually a very gentle and kind person. I was once a slave, and it was Mr. Yi who redeemed me. The other slaves were expressionless. There were handsome men and beautiful women on the Shell Sea planet. Some rich merchants fancied the beauty of the Shell Sea planet, and it was not surprising that they redeemed their freedom. Bai-in probably guessed that they would think this way. Mr. Yi didn't ask me to do anything I don't want to do. My freedom isn't what you think. Moreover, my sister, Mr. Yi even provided her with tuition fees so that she could study here. In short, you'll understand Mr. Yi after some time. He's really a very kind person. You guys are really lucky to be able to follow Mr. Yi. With that, Bai-in left the villa. Yi Zichen did not know what Bai-in said outside. When he logged back into the game, he was already immersed in a sea of private messages. Hundreds of thousands of private messages. Just the income from private messages alone was more than 100,000 galaxy dollars. He looked at the game coins in his bag. Yi Zichen dared to say that no one in the game had more game coins than him. Most of the private messages were asking him to help them level up. When Yi Zichen logged off, he decided not to accept any more orders. Even if he did, he wouldn't be able to. The amount of private messages increased again. This time, Yi Zichen mentioned 50,000 star coins. This was also to reduce the number of private messages. Otherwise, if there were too many private messages from strangers, he wouldn't be able to read them. You're finally online. Not long after Yi Zichen went online, Bai Feng sent him a message. Then there's a video. In the video, White Phoenix sat on the ground in boredom. In front of her was a pile of rubble. During this period of time, she had been doing this. One could imagine how bored she was. You didn't go level up? Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows. White Phoenix played with the stones on the ground without even looking up. Leveling up by myself is so boring. Then you've been waiting for me? Yeah. White Phoenix shrugged. What else could I have done? All right, Yi Zichen smiled wryly. How many scrolls did you get? Let's go and get more scrolls. We might even be able to get the materials you need. Haha, I hope so. When Yi Zichen mentioned the materials, White Phoenix smiled. I don't have too much hope. If I can get it, then so be it. If I can't, then so be it. I've already gotten over it. Also, I heard some insider information. What information? You came looking for me. I can't tell you here, Bai Feng said mysteriously. Soon after, a set of coordinates appeared in his private message. Yi Zichen clicked Find Path, and his character automatically ran over. About half an hour later, Yi Zichen arrived at White Phoenix's location. You really know how to do things. To Yi Zichen's surprise, what he saw in the video was only the tip of the iceberg. When he finally arrived in front of White Phoenix, she'd laid out a pattern over 100 meters long. This is the Spiritual Phoenix Palace, said White Phoenix. A woo. Yi Zichen didn't know what the hell the Spiritual Phoenix Palace was. All he saw was that White Phoenix's character name seemed to have gotten even redder. You killed someone again? Yeah. White Phoenix twisted her wrist. Someone tried to kill me, so I had to fight back. That was for sure. Yi Zichen's expression darkened. White Phoenix's name was so red it was almost purple. Any player who saw her would definitely try to kill her. If she killed him in such a situation, she'd drop all her equipment. Of course, Yi Zichen didn't know what White Phoenix was wearing. At the very least, when he fought bosses with her, she never wanted equipment. Right now, White Phoenix was in a vicious cycle. If a player wanted to kill her because of her red name, that wouldn't be considered malicious. If White Phoenix fought back, then her evil deeds would be even higher. How many evil deeds have you done? Let me see. White Phoenix glanced at him. 1376. In other words, White Phoenix had already killed 1376 players. Based on the game's rules, she needed to kill 500 monsters of the current level to reduce her evil deeds by 1. White Phoenix needed to kill 688,000 monsters. Nearly 700,000 monsters. For some reason, Yi Zichen felt like she would never be able to clear her name. Don't go back to the newbie village, White Phoenix said. I know, someone told me, White Phoenix nodded. I definitely won't go back. I'll go back when I reach level 200. Why? I can fight them at level 200, White Phoenix said matter-of-factly. Aren't the newbie village people all level 200? If they dare to catch me when I reach level 200, then I'll kill them all. Yi Zichen was completely confused. Did this girl take the wrong medicine? What's she talking about? Slaughtering newbie villages? If she really did that, then she'd definitely become a wanted criminal in the entire game. Stop messing around. Yi Zichen tried to calm White Phoenix down. For some reason, he really felt like she could do it. I'm not messing around, I'm being serious. White Phoenix looked at Yi Zichen seriously. Aren't you afraid of being wanted by the game? I won't. White Phoenix waved her hand. I already received insider information. Actually, the people who are playing this game right now are all wrong. This isn't how the game is played. What do you mean? Yi Zichen frowned. Chapter 2108. Killing monsters to level up. After reaching level 500, he left the beginner village. The journey to the universe had officially begun. It was announced on the game's official website. I don't really understand. Yi Zichen really didn't understand what Bai Feng was getting at. Are you saying that the game doesn't need to be upgraded, or are you talking about something else? Leveling up is definitely a must. But this game's NPCs, right? They're NPCs, right? You can actually fight them. How stupid. Why are you so stupid? Bai Feng seemed a little impatient. I can't be bothered to explain it to you. You'll understand when I go and beat them up. Was there a problem with his understanding? Wasn't there something wrong with Bai Feng's explanation? Attacking NPCs in the game was a very common thing. What Yi Zichen cared about was what would happen if he attacked them. Bai Feng hadn't mentioned any of this. Where did you get the insider information? Ali, who? Ali, White Phoenix blinked. It's little Tanuki, who came in earlier than me. She added me as a friend and said that my name was so red. I told her that I killed a lot of people, but she said it's fine. She'll just have to wait until her level is high enough to clear the novice village. What the F***ck? Little Tanuki? This friend Yizichin looked at the level. Level 3. It had been so F***king long. Yizichin didn't want to explain how he'd played. Baifeng actually believed what she said? Hello. Yizichin clicked open his chat with little Tanuki and sent her a private message. Hello, Ali replied. Is what you told Baifeng true? Yes. Where did you hear that? I'm from the Virtual World Corporation. Yizichin was instantly stunned by little Tanuki's message. Virtual World Corporation. Internal personnel? If it was true, then what she said had a certain degree of credibility. No, just because he said so? What's your employee number? Yizichin was prepared to ask Xianyuan Xiang. If they both belonged to the Virtual World Corporation, then Xianyuan Xiang should know him. I don't have a work number, little Tanuki said. It's fake. This guy was bragging here. Yizichin was truly impressed. Baifeng actually believed everything he said. If you have any questions, you can tell me. Little Tanuki sent another message. I can help you respond. Are you addicted to acting? No matter what, they were from the same faction. Yizichin didn't want to make things difficult for him. I have a lot of questions. Speak. I hope there can be an auction function. For example, if I bring someone to a dungeon, I'll bring whoever offers the highest price. Anything else? I hope to add a shop purchase function. Anything else? Just help me solve these two problems. All right. As soon as the message was sent, little Tanuki went offline. This brother was he was immersed in the setting of his character. Let's go run a dungeon. Yizichin looked at Baifeng. How many dungeon scrolls did you get? 79. Baifeng replied in a crisp voice. How much? When he heard that, Yizichin nearly jumped in fright. 79, Baifeng repeated. Baifeng repeated. This thing isn't as cheap as you say it is. You can only get one for 100,000 now. In order to get more, I raised the price to 150,000. 79 scrolls? Wasn't she trying to kill him? Withered Tree had been waiting for a long time. Hua Jianro and the others were behind him. Based on the efficiency of clearing the 5th floor in 2 hours, 79 scrolls was enough for Yizichin to clear for half a month. Are we going or not? Of course. The Path of the Brave could hold up to 5 people at once. Right now it was just Yizichin and Baifeng. Beiyu wasn't in the Milky Way newbie village, nor was little Tanuki. There were no Upheaval Alliance members to freeload off of. If it was just the two of them, it would be a waste of resources. The dungeon can hold up to 5 people. Can I find a few more to freeload off? Sure. Baifeng sent in a trade request. All 79 scrolls were placed on it. You really do trust me? Yizichin glanced at the scrolls in his bag. Based on the current market price, they were worth 7.9 million cosmic credits. Why wouldn't I trust you? Asked Baifeng. That was too touching. If it weren't for the fact that Baifeng was a woman, Yizichin really wanted to hug and kiss her. Since she was a woman, people might mistake it for harassment. So, he didn't do that. Wait a moment. Baifeng nodded, then squatted down to type her Spirit Phoenix Palace. Yizichin opened his friend list. By now, there were quite a few people on his list. They were all the leaders of the various factions in the Milky Way newbie village. Some were rich people. They hadn't joined any factions, nor had they established any, but they had money and were willing to invest it into the game. These people were like hungry children waiting to be fed. They were waiting for Yizichin to find time to carry them. Among his friends, Yizichin found 3 people he was rather familiar with. Tianhai, Withered Tree, Meng Luo. Tianhai, the middle-aged uncle, had been sending messages to Yi Zichen ever since carrying them. There was also the matter of waiting in line and the matter of commission. In order to get ahead of schedule, the uncle said domineeringly that he could pay 3 times more than the others. To be honest, Yi Zichen was very tempted. But nothing could be accomplished without rules. Although he felt like the uncle's money was easy to earn, he still didn't accept. Then there was Withered Tree. He'd already waited bitterly for an entire day. In terms of their relationship, Yi Zichen had interacted with Withered Tree the most. As soon as the game started, he'd sought out Yi Zichen to buy equipment. Then he'd been willing to buy all of it. The price he'd offered was fair. Meng Luo. In truth, Yi Zichen liked this little girl. She was cute. She didn't have any color. She was all natural. She'd been sending Yi Zichen private messages about their group's Q situation. Her words were filled with innocence and cuteness. The reason he'd sought out the 3 of them was simple: they'd worked together before. Another reason was that he didn't want to waste an instant's dungeon slot. Another reason was, the 3 of them had money. Yi Zichen couldn't possibly get a free ride. He wasn't a charity. Besides, even if they were familiar with each other, they weren't close. If Bar came, Yi Zichen could let him ride for free because they were on good terms. There was no need to even mention the great sage, Yang Jian, and the others. Of the people Yi Zichen had met in the game, only White Phoenix could be considered a good friend. Furthermore, she was on her way to the Blue River planet. As for the others, at least from the looks of it, they were all bosses who earned money for Yi Zichen. They paid, Yi Zichen put in the effort. It was that simple. Of course, he wouldn't force them to buy a slot. He just sent a simple message. There's a slot in the instance dungeon. Want to come? Chapter 2109. Ding. A golden light flashed. Wow, congratulations on breaking through to level 50. Meng Luo's eyes squinted into crescent moons, while a sincere congratulatory smile appeared on her face. Congratulations, Kumu also smiled. There's a future in the galaxy's novice village. We won't be able to make it big in this lifetime. Tianhai also half-jokingly congratulated. Same to you. Yi Zichen looked towards the others. At that moment, a week had already passed. During these 7 days, Yi Zichen had run the path of the hero 24 times. He had successfully leveled up to level 50. He was also the first player to reach level 50 in the galaxy's novice village. As his level increased, at the very least, the difference in levels between Yi Zichen and the others was no longer so obvious. Meng Luo, Kumu, Tianhai, Baifeng. They were all at level 48. A 2-level difference was actually very low, but the difference in experience between them was huge. They had been together for a week. Their relationship had gotten much closer. Future God, are we still going to continue? Meng Luo blinked, but she was no longer as excited about leveling up as before. Running dungeons day after day. Anyone would find it boring. What's more, leveling up at her level was starting to become difficult. She could no longer find the joy of leveling up like crazy. I said continue. Do you still want to? Yi Zichen patted Meng Luo's head. I'm a bit sick of it after a week. I don't want to do it again in the short term. Everyone, rest well. I'll contact you guys again when we're driving. If you guys still want a ride. Tianhai and company nodded and returned to the city. Esteemed Universe Gold Card user, 1. 2 million Universe credits have been transferred to your account. Please check. Esteemed Universe Gold Card user, 1. 2 million Universe credits have been transferred to your account. Please check. Esteemed Universe Gold Card user, 1. 2 million Universe credits have been transferred to your account. Please check. 3 Universe Bank transfer notifications. All for 120 Universe credit. That was Yi Zichen's commission. Tianhai, Meng Luo and Kumu had to pay 50,000 Universe credits for every dungeon run. 24 times was 2 million. There was no discount for anyone. Yi Zichen didn't feel that it was expensive. In fact, he felt that it was rather cheap. If the three of them didn't come, many people would. Tianhai. After returning to Novice Village, Deadwood sent a private message to Tianhai. How about a drink at the tavern? A few minutes later, Tianhai was invited to a tavern in the beginner village. What's up? Sit. Gumu pointed at the chair in front of him. I actually wanted to talk to you about the future. Oh. Tianhai raised an eyebrow. Just now, when we reached level 50 in the future, you said that we wouldn't be able to make a name for ourselves in the Novice Village. I wonder if, haha, you're talking about that. Skycy laughed heartily. Fortunately, they were in a private room of the tavern. Otherwise, quite a few players would have noticed them. What? Is there a problem? I can empathize with you. Kumu replied. It seems like the difference between us and future is very small, but we all know that the difference between us and future is very big. That's right. Yi Zichen was the main damage dealer of the dungeon, while they were just passengers. People who killed dungeon monsters would receive bonus experience. It seemed like their levels were close, but in reality, the difference in experience was getting bigger and bigger. Right now, including that little girl, Meng Luo, the three of us represent the three major powers in the beginner village. Divine Domain, Nebula, Demon Tower. But in terms of fame, we are far behind future. Kumu hesitated. What do you want to say? Tianhai's words and actions revealed a sense of foreboding. He had actually already guessed why Kumu wanted to talk to him. Future, he had too much influence in the beginner village. It was no exaggeration to say that the current future controlled over 70% of the equipment resources in the beginner village. He also had the absolute power to decide the level ranking. He, who had a secret technique, was shockingly efficient in clearing dungeons. He was also the only player in the Milky Way beginner village that could reach level 5 and above, and he could solo. All the powers in the beginner village followed his lead. They all bowed down. Everyone wanted to win his favor so that he could lead their team to level up. This was definitely not a good sign. What's more, it seemed like the beginner village was very peaceful. This was because there were no resources that were worth fighting over. If there was a need to fight, then if Yi Zichen wanted those resources, would they give it to him or not? If they gave it to him, they would be left behind even more. If they didn't, then they would become enemies with Yi Zichen. When that happened, they would no longer be able to get on Yi Zichen's car, and their levels would definitely fall behind. Their levels would fall behind. They wouldn't be able to upgrade their equipment. They would be even more troubled when fighting for other resources in the future. This was a very troublesome problem. Tianhai had thought about this a long time ago, but he couldn't find a way to solve it. Dragging it out would only cause the gap to widen. Whether it was equipment or levels. This was because Yi Zichen had absolute control over the equipment. All the high-level, high-quality equipment was in his hand. Tianhai and the others bought them because Yi Zichen didn't need them. Or rather, they were eliminated. The equipment of the two sides were never on the same level. The longer they dragged it out, the greater the gap would grow. If they wanted to avoid being at a disadvantage when fighting for resources in the future, then it was best to deal with it now. They had to kill Future in the cradle. Although this was a bit unkind, Future wouldn't have much of a relationship with them. From start to finish, they would just be working together. At most, Future chose the three of them out of the many collaborators he had. However, it was still undeniable that they had all paid a sufficient commission. A few million universe credit. That wasn't a small amount. For some normal universe-level experts, their savings weren't even a tenth of what Yi Zichen had earned in the past few days. Tianhai knew all of this very well. However, he wouldn't say it. He needed Deadwood to say it himself. "Heh, old fox," Deadwood muttered with a cold laugh. He didn't believe that Tianhai didn't know what he wanted to say. He just had to ask that on purpose. No one could be sure whether or not Tianhai was recording or not. If he said it, Tianhai's recording could be handed over to Future. He wouldn't be able to get on Future's car again. Right now, Deadwood hadn't made a final decision on whether or not to fall out with Future. He couldn't take that risk. Deadwood, what exactly do you want to say? My people are still waiting for me to help them level up, Tianhai urged. Actually, it's nothing. Deadwood shook the wine glass on the table. I just want to ask for your opinion. Do you think it's good or bad for Future to stay in our novice village? Chapter 21:10. To be able to become the person in charge of a region. None of them were ordinary people. Withered Tree's question was actually pushing the question back to Tianhai. Tianhai understood. He could actually just brush it off, but he felt like there was no need to push it around. What's more, the future was indeed something they had to face. There are pros and cons. What do you mean? Kumu, since you've already come to find me and asked me this much, then how about we be honest with each other? Tianhai decided to get straight to the point. He didn't want to beat around the bush. We're all smart people, we know what the future will affect. His existence allows us to level up faster than other novice villages. That's right, Kumu nodded. He contacted many of his friends. The highest level in their novice village was only level 45. Their novice village in the Milky Way. Not counting Yizichin, even Kumu and the others were level 48. They were 3 levels higher than other novice villages. The faster we level up, the faster we leave the novice village, and the earlier we can fight for the universe's resources, Tianhai frowned. The universe's resources are what we should fight for. We can actually let go of some of the novice village's resources, right? I agree with you, but, Kumu nodded, then his gaze turned serious. The problem is who will leave the novice village first. Am I right about the future? We don't know how long he will leave before us. What's more, who can be sure that he will always bring us? Yes, that's my concern as well, Tianhai nodded. If we give up on the novice village's resources just to not offend him, then we might lose even more. Yes. All in all, Kumu and Tianhai were afraid of the unknown. They didn't know how Yizichin would treat them in the future. Right now, Yizichin was in an ambiguous period with them. They interacted a lot with each other. Who knew if he would get closer to other people in the future? There were so many players and factions in the novice village. Even now, there were still players and factions joining. They were only at the start of the game for the first 10 days. They had a certain advantage, but they couldn't guarantee that they would be able to in the future. However, the one who decided and controlled everything was the future of the number 1 on the level leaderboard. The biggest boss of the novice village in the Milky Way. He could level up whoever he wanted. He didn't want anyone to level up. It wasn't that that person couldn't level up, but it was definitely impossible for them to be the fastest. Besides, he needed good equipment and a high level. If he didn't like someone, he would chase and kill that person every day. No one would be able to stop him. We really need to make a decision. Withered Tree narrowed his eyes. If we continue to delay, we might not have any chance at all. Tianhai frowned deeply. This was indeed a difficult choice to make. Right now, their levels were still low. Perhaps they could use their numbers to pose a threat in the future. If his rank was high in the future, his equipment had reached the point of complete suppression. No matter how many people there were, it was all for naught. In the future, he had yet to establish a force. If he did, he could just raise his arm and call for help. 80% of the people in the novice village wanted to go to him. Just then, Future contacted me. Did he contact you? Withered Tree asked as he looked at Tianhai. He asked me if I had any unappraised rune stone fragment. He came looking for me as well. Tianhai nodded. Do you know what a rune stone fragment is used for? Withered Tree frowned. He did have quite a few rune stone fragments in his hands. They were all dropped when he fought monsters in the past. He had thought about it for a long time. However, he didn't manage to figure it out, so he kept it in his backpack. I'm not sure, Tianhai shook his head. The items dropped in this game are always unclear, but I think it might be related to him just leveling up to level 50. Items needed for level 50? Withered Tree pondered for a moment. I still have some things to do. I'll contact you when I'm free. Tianhai suddenly left the tavern. Withered Tree frowned as he looked at Tianhai's back. Old fox. He ran away in advance after knowing that I was going to ask him if he would give it to me or not. Then, Withered Tree rubbed his chin. Should I give it to him or not? What do you want unappraised rune stone fragments for? Bai Feng handed all of the rune stone fragments she had to Yi Zichen's hands. I just leveled up to level 50, so I unlocked a rune stone system. Yi Zichen did not hide anything towards Bai Feng. I'm still researching what this system is for. I'll tell you after I understand. Alright, then continue researching. Bai Feng didn't mind too much, and squatted down to play with stones. Yi Zichen clicked open the rune stone system page. The page looked like a human acupoint map. 830 acupoints. Each of these acupoints had a socket. They were used to embed rune stones. Xiangjia. Yi Zichen clicked on the system's little fairy to summon her. Not long later, Xianyuan Xiang appeared in front of him. Long time no see. Not bad, you're already level 50. Sis is very satisfied. Haha, how are the other novice villages? The highest is level 48, said Xianyuan Xiang. It seems like you remembered my words. You're pretty hard-working in leveling up. Of course. Yi Zichen smiled, then went straight to the point. Xiangjia, what is this rune stone system for? Also, are rune stones those unappraised rune stone fragments? Where are they appraised? You unlocked the rune stone system? Xianyuan Xiang was a bit surprised, then understood. So you unlocked the rune stone system at level 50. I thought it would only be unlocked after you leave the novice village. Yi Zichen could tell from Xianyuan Xiang's words. The rune stone system seems to be very advanced. What exactly are the rune stones for? Yi Zichen asked. You should have seen it. The page of the rune stone system shows the 830 acupoints of the human body. With that, Xianyuan Xiang waved her hand, causing a human acupoint map to appear in front of Yi Zichen's eyes. It was somewhat similar to the one he saw before, but also somewhat different. It was still a human, but there were also 830 acupoints. The reason it wasn't similar was because the acupoints on the map were glowing. Embedding rune stones into these acupoints will increase your character's attribute. When all 830 acupoints are embedded with a level 1 rune stone, your bloodline will awaken, causing all your attributes to increase by 10%. Level 2 is 20% and so on. Understood. Simply put, it was a type of increase to the character's attribute. Also, you're very lucky, Xianyuan Xiang spoke up again. I went to ask others just now. They said that the rune stone system isn't unlocked at level 50, but rather has a certain chance of unlocking it every time a character levels up. The higher the level, the higher the chance. Yi Zichen was stunned. It wasn't unlocked at level 50? Does that mean that I'm a lucky person? Chapter 21:11. The activation of the rune stone system was not fixed. The appearance of this phenomenon would instantly increase the gap between players. Wouldn't this be unfair to certain players? Very quickly, Yi Zichen felt that it was reasonable. Second World. A real virtual game. Was the real universe fair? It wasn't. Then the game, why was it fair? What's more, Yi Zichen was someone who activated the runestone system, so he was naturally able to accept this sort of unfairness. Other people also had a chance of activating it later on. Yi Zichen hoped that no one would activate it in the future, and even if it was activated, it would be activated by the people around him. Don't call me selfish, so what if I am selfish? I'm really suspecting whether someone is manipulating you in the game. Xianyuan Xiang suddenly spoke up. Xianyuan Xiang suddenly said, "There's a secret technique that can kill with one strike. The chance of obtaining this secret technique is 1 in a billion. You obtained it. The chance of activating the rune stone system at level 50 is less than 1 in a billion. You activated it. If you only have one, then it might be your luck. Both of them happen to you at the same time. I really suspect that someone is manipulating you in the dark. Xian Yuan Xiang squinted her eyes and examined Yi Zichen. Immediately after, a smile appeared in her eyes. But it's good that it's manipulating you in the dark. Older sister isn't the creator of the game. If I was, I would give you everything I can and make you invincible. Then, us two sisters would be able to do whatever we want in the universe. Beat up anyone who bullies me. Ha ha ha, Yi Zichen also laughed. Xiangjie, how do I get the rune stone? Do I use unappraised rune stone fragments? That's one way, Xian Yuan Xiang said. There are other ways? Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows. Of course, Xian Yuan Xiang replied. Telling you now isn't really revealing the progress of the game. Actually, you can leave the novice village in the later stages of the game. Leave the novice village? That seems to be a very normal thing. One would leave the novice village after level 500. That was something that all players knew. Since Xian Yuan Xiang said that, Yi Zichen believed that she definitely wasn't referring to that. When you reach a certain level, you can attack the novice village NPCs. You will be wanted for killing them. When that happens, you will leave the novice village and become a free person. What? Suddenly Yi Zichen recalled Bai Feng's earlier words. She said, that's not how the game is played. At that time, he mentioned killing the NPC in the novice village. Players who become free people can choose to continue operating as free people or establish their own territory. Of course, killing an NPC in the novice village will always put you on the wanted list. Yi Zichen listened to Xian Yuan Xiang's words seriously in fear of missing a single word. This doesn't affect your game. It's just that it won't be convenient for you to enter in-game cities in the future. You can build your own territory, and your territory can have everything in the game city. You can also occupy rune stone mines. Rune stone mine? Yes, there are mines like this in your novice village. Some of them are occupied by the novice village, while others are unclaimed and are currently occupied by the novice village. Yi Zichen nodded. It was no wonder that the novice village would occasionally send out militias from the novice village. At that time, he thought it was a patrol, or something else. This game was almost no different from reality. The novice village's militia was on the move, and no one could guess what they were up to. Unless some players were bored, they kept following behind. But even if they saw it from behind, the players wouldn't know what the rune stone mine was used for. Perhaps they would have doubts in their hearts. However, before the rune stone system was activated, no one would have thought that rune stones were used to strengthen the attributes of characters. Now that Xian Yuan Xiang said it like that, it was most likely to occupy a rune stone mine. Rune stone mines produce rune stones every day? Yes, Xian Yuan Xiang nodded. Different levels of rune stone mines produce different amounts. Can I occupy a rune stone mine only by establishing a territory? Yeah, Xian Yuan Xiang nodded. That means establishing a territory is a must, Yi Zichen frowned. He couldn't occupy a rune stone mine without establishing a territory. If he didn't occupy a rune stone mine, then he wouldn't have any rune stones. You can't say that. It depends on what you think, Xian Yuan Xiang shrugged. If you establish a territory, then you will become the enemy of the NPCs in the game. Any player that hasn't left the novice village will be your enemy. It's pretty much the same as a wanted poster in real life. You will be like a street rat that everyone wants to beat up. How tragic, Yi Zichen joked. Do you think it's extremely tragic? Xian Yuan Xiang also smiled. Your level is still low, so you have a lot of time to think about it. There's no rush. Xian Yuan Xiang was right. Yi Zichen was only level 50. It was still too early for him to think about killing level 200 novice village NPCs. There was basically no need for him to think about it in the short term. Xiangjie, where should I go to appraise the unappraised rune stone shards? Yi Zichen asked. Go find an appraiser. Is there one in the novice village? From what Yi Zichen remembered, there didn't seem to be any runestone appraisers even though he stayed in the novice village for a rather short amount of time. There is, Xianyuan Xiang replied. Are you sure? Yi Zichen was shocked. All right, I'll give you a hint then. An image appeared in Xianyuan Xiang's hand. When Yi Zichen saw the image, F***CK, why is it him? Look, didn't you see him before? Xianyuan Xiang rolled her eyes. Go find him, he's the appraiser. Don't make me give you his coordinates. I already told you a lot. If you continue, I'm going to get warned again. All right, thank you Xiangjia. You're welcome, we're family. Contact me if you need anything. I have to go and serve the others. Then, Xianyuan Xiang disappeared from Yi Zichen's sight. Yi Zichen let out a deep breath, while the image Xianyuan Xiang showed him kept repeating in his mind. Where am I supposed to find this? The person Xianyuan Xiang showed him was not a fixed NPC. Oh yeah, I nearly forgot, you better collect more rune stone shards. Xianyuan Xiang suddenly popped up again, shocking Yi Zichen. Suddenly, Xianyuan Xiang popped up again, shocking Yi Zichen. Everything in this game can be extracted into reality, you know. You're saying that the character's attributes can be used as well? Yi Zichen was shocked. I didn't say that. Don't blame me for the company's higher-ups, I didn't say anything. I'm going to work, don't disturb me. Xianyuan Xiang quickly disappeared from Yi Zichen's sight once again. Yi Zichen clenched his fists, while his entire body trembled. F***CK, I'm going to find you even if I have to dig 3 feet underground. Chapter 21:12. Character Attributes Strengthened. It can be extracted into reality. In the game, it was the rune stone system that strengthened the character's attribute. Outside the game, this was basically enhancing human genes. Yi Zichen listened to a class about improving human genes in Blue River Academy's classes. In the human universe, many races were favored by the universe. When they reached adulthood, they would reach the universe rank and the titled rank. These darlings, they were blessed with high-grade genes, and it was because of these genes that they were born with great strength. Human genes could be roughly divided into 9 levels. Level 1 gene, king ranked at adulthood. Level 2 gene, reaching the duke rank at adulthood. Level 3 gene, marquis rank at adulthood. Level 4 gene, adult would be commander level. Level 5 gene, adult warlord level. Level 6 gene, maturing into the universe level. Level 7 gene, adult cosmic system state. Level 8 gene, adult star rank. Level 9 gene. Once they reach adulthood, they will reach the domain level. These were the 9 levels of human genes. Yi Zichen's gene level couldn't even be compared to the lowest level 9. Upgrading one's gene level would allow one's strength to increase significantly. But it was very difficult to increase one's gene level. It also required a lot of money. Among them, there was an item called Geno Origin Stone, which was the key to improving human genes. This kind of item was rare, and its price was extremely high. One Geno Stone was about $500 US. However, if he wanted to break through, he would need tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of Geno Stones. There was also a chance of failure during the absorption. The rune stone system in the game was similar to the gene enhancement that the teacher had mentioned. Rune stones were like Geno Origin Stones. One Geno Origin Stone was $500 US, which meant buy phone. Yi Zichen said to Bai Feng, "Get your men to collect the unappraised rune stones and rune stone fragment. They'll cost about 50 star coins." No one knew what the rune stone fragments were used for. Unfortunately, the output of this thing wasn't low. Dozens of monsters would drop one shard. With the number of players in the novice village, the number of rune stone fragments they possessed would definitely be as high as the ocean. The merchants in the novice village were buying shard 10 star coins. Many players didn't know what this thing could do, so they sold it to the merchants in the novice village. Yi Zichen bought it for 50 morning star coins. It was no longer low. As for those who were more sophisticated and saw through the trick, they were not for sale. Yi Zichen didn't mind. Sell it or not. Buy however much you want, buy as much as you can. Why do you want it? Bai Feng asked in confusion. Can I trust you? Yi Zichen looked into Bai Feng's eyes and hesitated. Forget it, I'll tell you. Yi Zichen didn't really like hiding things from the people around him. The spell stone might be a Geno origin stone. Are you sure? Bai Feng's expression became serious. I'm not sure. Yi Zichen shrugged. That's just my guess. Didn't I activate the rune stone system just now? This rune stone system increases the stats of characters by embedding runes. I understand. Surprisingly, Bai Feng didn't need to explain too much to understand what he meant. Everything in this game can be extracted, including the character's attribute. If your rune stone system can extract it, it would be no different from raising one's genetic power. Correct? Yi Zichen snapped his fingers. Why are you telling me something so private? Bai Feng looked into Yi Zichen's eyes. If you don't tell me, then you might earn a lot. We're friends, Yi Zichen smiled. Yi Zichen smiled. I've always been straightforward with my friends. There's no point in hiding something like that. Suddenly, Bai Feng's face lit up. She did not say anything. She merely smiled at Yi Zichen, while her eyes shone. What are you looking at me for? Get someone to collect them. Quick hands get them, slow hands don't. Collect more. You'll be able to use them when you activate the rune stone system. As for the ones you gave me, I'm not giving them back to you. I want to use them now. Okay. Bai Feng nodded. I need to log off and make some arrangements. Hurry up and go. I'm going to the novice village to find a rune stone appraiser. The game logged off. Within a luxurious space battleship, a young lady slowly opened her eyes. Sovereign, you haven't logged off to rest for a long time. A mechanical voice sounded out in the spaceship the moment the girl opened her eyes. Sovereign, you seem to be very happy. Really? The girl could not hide her smile. Yes, I haven't seen you smile like this in a long time, a smile that comes from the heart, the mechanical voice replied. I met an idiot. The girl sat on the chair. I apologize for my previous words. Humans are not all cunning and selfish fellows. In fact, there are some fellows who are quite interesting. Then I've won, the mechanical voice declared. Yes, you win. The girl nodded lightly. Help me contact Carl. Connecting, a few moments later, a projection appeared on the warship. In the projection, a young man in a black tuxedo placed his right hand on his chest and bowed like a gentleman. My lord. Notify all the people in charge of 100 Phoenix Palace that have entered the game. Have them purchase as many unappraised runes and fragments as possible and as low as possible. Don't let others suspect anything. I believe that you won't disappoint me, right? Yes. Also, contact the 100 Phoenix Palace's vassal family clans. Vassal family clans, 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 vassal family clans. You know what I mean. No one is allowed to keep it for themselves. After purchasing it, hand it over to the person in charge of the area. Understood. Go do it. The girl waved her hand and the projection closed. Sovereign, I've been with you for tens of millions of years, and I've never heard you give an order like this. The mechanical voice spoke again. The unappraised runes, what are they? Can you tell me? They seem to be Geno origin stones. Geno origin stones? The mechanical voice was shocked. Why are you buying them? Your genes are God class. That's the limit. I'm buying them for a friend. The girl smiled. Friend? The mechanical voice was shocked again, and then answered with a smile. To be able to become your friend, he must be someone special. Yes. The girl was full of smiles. I haven't known him for long, but I don't know why. You know, I'm leaving this time to play with him. Haha, I don't know what to say. To be able to make you like this, I really want to meet him. The mechanical voice was full of hope. I will. After that, The girl lay on the chair and squinted her eyes. An image appeared in her mind. Take these as my gifts to you. Consider it your gratitude for not hiding anything from me. Chapter 21:13. In the vast sea of people. Yi Zichen passed through the novice village. The novice village NPC residences were everywhere. Thatched cottages were scattered throughout the novice village. In front of the house, the villagers of the newbie village would always be surrounded by countless players. They would whisper to each other and make certain deals that were tacitly agreed upon. You don't know either. Alright, sorry to bother you. Yi Zichen was one of them. If he was purely trying his luck in the novice village, then finding a rune stone appraiser would be like finding a needle in a haystack. Hope is slim. Time is a waste. Since they were both NPCs in the novice village, Yi Zichen thought about whether he could get some information about rune stone appraisers from other NPCs. Unfortunately, the result was barely satisfactory. Yi Zichen had already asked several tens of families, but no one knew of the existence of a rune stone appraiser, and no one had even heard of his name. Could it be a fake name? Yi Zichen left the NPC's side, then looked at the houses in the village with a frown. He still had more than half of his staff to visit. But from the looks of it now, even if he went to ask them, they would most likely not know anything. Are you looking for Ada? At that very moment, a one-eyed man suddenly appeared in front of Yi Zichen. He smiled evilly like a dishonest merchant. You know him? He's a regular customer of our casino. The one-eyed man squinted his eyes. Yi Zichen also saw his name. Simon LV 200 NPC. Although the NPC didn't seem like a good person, he was the only person Yi Zichen met who had information on Ada. He was right. The image Xianyuan Xiang gave him was of Atana, the pickpocket that stole Yi Zichen's money in the novice village not long ago. At the time, Yi Zichen was rather shocked. Who would have thought that the thief who stole the player's money every day in the novice village would be the hidden NPC rune stone appraiser? Just this news, if Xianyuan Xiang hadn't told him, Yi Zichen would never have believed it. Do you know where he is now? Of course. Simon grinned and rubbed his hands back and forth, but he did not continue. He took out 2,000 star coins from his pocket. Simon glanced at it and slowly pushed the star coin back. F***CK. Why were the NPCs of the novice village so greedy? How much do you want? That depends on your sincerity. Simon smiled. Yi Zichen was actually starting to suspect that this guy was intentionally screwing him over. He had been asking questions in the novice village for more than half an hour. Anyone who paid attention would know that he was looking for Atana. The NPCs in the novice village were all kinds of monsters. Maybe this guy was here to scam them. Here's 20,000. Yi Zichen hesitated for a moment, then took out 20,000 star coins. Simon still had a look of disdain. Yi Zichen clenched his teeth and let out a deep sigh. This is the deposit. Take me to see Atana. After I see him, I'll give you another 80,000 as a reward. Only then did Simon show a hint of satisfaction on his face. He put the pouch of 20,000 star coins into his pocket and scratched his nose. Let's go. Yi Zichen walked into a house under Simon's lead. Not long after, Simon opened up a cellar-like passage and walked down. He didn't expect there to be a whole new world here. Casino. Yi Zichen looked around. He wasn't the first player to notice this place. At least from the looks of it, there were several thousand players shouting with red faces. F***CK, you're so cocky when you don't have any money. Dong, chaos appeared in front of the casino. Yi Zichen saw a player being beaten to the ground by the casino staff as he cursed. Just you wait, when Lousy reaches level 200, throw him out. The NPCs completely ignored the player. 2 NPCs dragged the player out like a dead dog. You didn't get scared, did you? Simon smiled. You otherworldly warriors always like this. You laugh when you win money, but when you lose it all, you threaten to level up and fight us. What do you mean by level up? Is it cultivation? Something like that, Yizichin nodded. Yizichin didn't have any interest in this sort of situation. Not to mention in the game, even gamblers were the same in real life. Where is Atana? Very soon, Simon shrugged. But before that, I need to tell you something. His situation is rather special, so you better be mentally prepared. What do you mean? Simon smiled without saying anything, then directly brought Yizichin to a secret room at the very back of the casino. Hey friend, you better let me go. Let me out, I'll earn enough money very soon, then return to pay you back. We're all old friends, there's no need to be like this, right? An NPC leaned on the iron window of the secret room and shouted towards the outside. There were also several muscular men patrolling outside with whips and sticks. This is... Yizichin frowned. They can't pay us back what they owe us, Simon shrugged. Originally, we wanted to wait for their families to come and redeem them, but I noticed that I was wrong. How could these guys have families? Instead, I have to provide food for them every day. You're rather kind. No, Simon shook his head. I'm preparing to sell them to the mines in a few days. I'm not a philanthropist. Alright, the Atana you're looking for is this one. As soon as he finished speaking, Simon signaled the patrol outside to open Atana's iron gate. Hey, old friend, someone came to see you. Atana, who was wearing beggar clothes, sat on the floor in the room. He did not ask for help like the others. Instead, when the door was opened, he silently sat on the floor without even looking up. Atana. I heard you, Atana frowned impatiently. What did he come to me for? I don't even know him. Are you sure? Yizichin smiled. Think about it carefully. Atana looked at Yizichin with a frown. Not long later, shock surfaced in his eyes. You actually came here. It's useless even if you came. I don't have a single cent on me. How about you beat me up? You're a rune stone appraiser, right? Yizichin leaned over and whispered into Atana's ear. If you are, then I can redeem you right now. How did you know? Atana raised his eyebrows. Don't worry about it, just tell me if I am or not. You want me to help you appraise the rune stone? Atana revealed a smile, then sat down on the floor. Help me redeem myself, and give me another 20 million to recoup my losses. Yizichin? What are you blanking out for? Hurry up and give me the money. Atana sat on the floor fearlessly. I'm the only one in the entire novice village who knows how to appraise runes. If you... Here, this is the last 80,000. Yizichin took out another 80,000. Yizichin took out another 80,000. Send him to mine, I think he's pretty suitable for mining. Chapter 21:14. 20 million. This guy really dared to ask for it. Based on the fact that each monster gave 20 star coins, he would need to kill 1 million monsters in order to get 20 million star coins. Do I need to repair my damaged weapons? Do I need to buy consumables? It was already a lot for a player to have a few 100,000 star coins. Of course, Atana might have been telling the truth. He might be the only person in the entire beginner village who knew how to appraise stones. Yizichin purposely mentioned mining in order to scare him. The NPCs in the beginner village all had their own personalities and intelligence. No one liked to do hard labor like mining. Since Atana knew that he was going to be sold as a miner, he might change his mind. If he doesn't, Yizichin might actually have to pay him 20 million to get him out. Wait. Atana's expression changed drastically when Yizichin mentioned mining. Mining? Yeah, you owe someone a gambling debt and no one is going to pay you back. If I'm not going to sell you to mine, then what am I going to do with you? Yizichin raised his eyebrows. Simon. Atana quickly ran over. There's no need, right? We're old friends. I didn't spend money in your casino recently. Spending money is spending money. It's a matter of mutual consent. Simon spread out his hands and looked at Atana with a playful gaze. I'm open for business. I've never said that I wouldn't give you the money you won. What's more, I've done my best for you. You want to borrow money from me, so I lent it to you without hesitation. Hey, friend, Atana rubbed his hands and walked over. What? How about you pay me back? I don't want 20 million anymore. How about that? You don't want it anymore. Don't. Atana shook his head like a rattledrum. I'm about to become a miner. Why the hell do I need 20 million? How much does he owe you? Not much, 3 million. Simon extended 3 fingers. 3 million was still within the range that Yi Zichen could accept. Yi Zichen took out 300 star coins. Wait, I'm not done yet. Simon pushed the 300 galactic credits back with a crafty smile on his face. 3 million is the principal. You should know about casinos. It's not easy to borrow money here. This friend of yours, Atana, borrowed money at a high interest rate. Now the interest is about 70 million. We're all friends. Do you think I'll let him go just because you gave me 65 million? How much? 65 million. All of a sudden, Yi Zichen's expression froze. 65 million. He could take it out. But it was obvious that he was deliberately raising the price, just like Atana. 3 million. What kind of interest could be rolled to such an extent? If you can't pay, then please leave. Simon felt the change in Yi Zichen's expression, causing him to lose his previous smile. You must ransom me, Atana said anxiously. 3 million. If you want it, I can give it to you now. If you don't want it, you still want to snatch people from me? A group of NPCs suddenly appeared behind Simon. A casino goon. LV 300. He was actually a level 300 NPC. He was 100 levels higher than the militia in the novice village. Yi Zichen stared intently at the NPCs. He rubbed his nose. Ding, accept sudden mission. Rescue Anata. Mission complete. Release Anata's seal and become the talisman appraiser, Atana. Affability level increased by 500. A mission appeared in Yi Zichen's quest tab. This could be considered the first mission that Yi Zichen had truly accepted after playing the game for so long. Before, he had only challenged the path of the brave. There were also 2 ways to complete the mission. One was to pay 65 million astral coins. The other was to escape from the casino. Since the system gave him these 2 options, it meant that the second method had a certain chance of success. Yi Zichen was stingy. Give 65 million to the casino? Dream on. Don't even think about it. You're actually right. Dong. Yi Zichen kicked Simon viciously, then dragged Atana and started to run. Friends, let's take advantage of the chaos and steal money. Yi Zichen shouted. When the players in the casino saw this, they really started to steal the chips on the table. The entire casino was in chaos. Yi Zichen ran out with Atana in the chaos. Catch them. Several more thugs rushed out of the casino. Yi Zichen directly reached into his money pouch. Hurry up and pick up the money. He tossed out several million astral coins in one go. Countless astral coins scattered on the ground. The players all rushed over and surrounded the thugs, making it impossible for them to continue chasing. Bye-bye, Your Majesty. Yi Zichen and Anata saw the light of day again when they pushed open the door to the cellar. Hurry up and catch them. The thugs in the casino were still shouting. F***ck, they came so quickly. All of a sudden, several dozen thugs in the beginner's village chased after Yi Zichen and Anata. Many players in the beginner's village couldn't help but stop. What's going on? A mission? So cool. Being chased by an NPC like that, the reward for this kind of mission must be really high, right? Did you see that? That person seems to be the future. The future of the number 1 on the level leaderboard? No wonder the way this person does things is always surprising. The players whispered to each other. Ding. Mission extension activated. Please ensure that NPC Atana is not caught within 6 hours. Success will earn Atana's absolute loyalty. Failure will deduct 3 levels and Atana's affability level, 2000. Do not log off within these 6 hours. Yi Zichen's character name instantly turned red. There was also the word "wanted" behind the character name, which was especially eye-catching. It was the same for Etana, who also had the word "wanted" behind his name. But, at that moment, his name had already changed. Talisman Appraiser Etana LVL 200. Don't leave me behind. As long as you promise that I'm not caught, then I'll follow you in the future. You have to protect me. I'm screwed if I'm caught, Etana shouted urgently. F***CK. I don't need you to tell me that. Yi Zichen clenched his teeth. It was fortunate that the ones chasing after him were the casino's NPCs. The beginner's village was so big the map outside was even bigger. They shouldn't be able to find them with the few NPCs they have. Ding. System notification. Simon of the beginner's village has issued a wanted order for the player future NPC Etana of the beginner's village. This wanted order can be accepted by all players of the beginner's village. Successful capture will result in the reward of gold equipment, level 2, duration of 6 hours. The system will broadcast the wanted criminal's coordinates every 15 minutes. Players, please participate and capture the criminal as soon as possible. Ding. System notification. The notification was sent over a dozen times. Everyone in the beginner's village, no matter if they were in the village or in the wilderness, heard it clearly. Yi Zichen, who was on the run, was completely stunned. F***CK. A wanted order for the game, and the coordinates will be broadcast every 15 minutes. How am I supposed to play? Chapter 21:15. When the wanted notice appeared, the novice village was in a state of turmoil. They were shocked at a godly player like Yi Zichen. His gaming was just different from others. While the others were fighting the small monsters, he went to fight the boss. It was already difficult for others to clear the first 3 levels of the Path of the Brave, but he was leading others to clear the 5th level. Everyone else was taking quests in the novice village. He was wanted. The instant he was put on the wanted list, Yi Zichen received countless messages. Most of them were inconsequential questions. Since they weren't familiar with each other, Yi Zichen didn't reply. Future God, why are you on the wanted list? At this moment, Meng Luo sent him a private message. Do you need help? Sister Hua said that if you need help, the people of Star Cloud will drop everything they are doing to help. Not for the time being. Among all the messages, Meng Luo, or rather, Star Cloud, was the only force that offered to help. Tianhai had just sent a message. The message he gave was that no one in the God domain would participate in the bounty. Withered Tree, he didn't even send a message. In truth, no matter what decision they made, Yi Zichen could understand. It was the news about Meng Luo. It also vividly contrasted the coldness of the others. In the end, the relationship between them only belonged to the interests. Okay, send me a message if you need anything, Meng Luo replied. I won't bother you anymore. Don't get caught by others. Oh right, when your bounty is over, go back to the novice village. I'll give you the unappraised runestones. Alright. After ending the private message, Yi Zichen looked at the burden beside him. Talisman Appraiser Etana LV 200 inch Etana, you're level 200. It shouldn't be a problem for you to kill some players that are in the tens of levels, right? Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows. No. Etana frowned. I don't know why, but my power has been sealed. I tried to break the seal earlier but failed. Right now, I probably can't even beat a pheasant. Damn. What was the system trying to do? A bounty for the entire novice village, and to seal Etana's power. How could Yi Zichen not be able to resist the encirclement of so many players by himself? He took a deep breath. Yi Zichen pushed towards the higher level area. He could only try his best to make use of the game's advantages. He headed to a high-level map. Tianshan Tiger LV-79. This was the map Yi Zichen had found. It could be considered the highest-level map. As for the taller ones, he didn't notice. Looking at the ferocious Tianshan tigers around him, the monsters were extremely territorial, so Yi Zichen was surrounded the moment he entered their territory. Die. The sword in his hand fell. A full set of level 50 dark gold equipment was no laughing matter. However, there was still almost no way to break through the level 79 Tianshan Tiger's defense. The only way to kill them was by activating a secret technique. It was better this way. If even Yi Zichen couldn't beat them with his equipment, then other players couldn't even think about killing them. It would be good if he didn't get killed instantly. Perhaps, if he was lucky, he could stay here until the bounty period ended. Check the time. 3:24. 12 more than 2 hours had passed. After killing several Tianshan tigers, Yi Zichen brought Atana to the center of the map. Wanted coordinates, Tianshan 7796. 1439. Will they chase after us? Atana looked at the surrounding Tianshan tigers and couldn't help but swallow his saliva. If it was in the past, he wouldn't be afraid of these huge worms. The residents of their novice village. They were all warriors with the heart of the brave. Who knew how many of these giant insects they had killed? Unfortunately, his power had been sealed. If these insects attacked him, he would die. Fortunately, Yi Zichen was pretty strong, so he was able to fight his way out of the encirclement of the insects. Not sure. The Tianshan tigers would stop some players from entering, but wild monsters were still wild monsters. Their intelligence was incomparable to that of humans. Even if they dissuade a portion of the players, there would still be some who would come in. AI, is the power of your rune stone appraisal sealed? Yi Zichen took out plenty of rune stones and fragments. No, Athana replied. Then help me appraise it. Hearing that, Yi Zichen took out a large amount of unappraised runes and fragments from his backpack. I'll use them after you appraise them. That way, my strength will increase, and our chances of survival will increase. Sure. Atana did not refuse, so Yi Zichen waited for him to start. He didn't move for a long time, only stretching out his hand. What are you doing? Pay up. Ada stretched out his hand. Isn't it obvious? You have to pay. If you don't pay, how am I supposed to appraise it for you? Me? Yi Zichen glared at him. You still want money? No **T. Ada twitched his mouth. Don't you need to pay to buy medicine from a pharmacy? Don't you need to pay to buy equipment from a blacksmith? Seriously, you want me to appraise it for you without paying? What are you thinking? Don't forget that I saved you. You don't know how to repay kindness, and you're even charging me. I saved an ingrate? I know, Ada nodded. That's why I won't charge you more. As for your appraisal fee, I'll just charge 500 star dollars for the fragments and 5 galaxy dollars for the runes. Yi Zichen had over 10,000 fragments in his backpack, and over 900 runes. An appraisal fee of over 50 million. It can't be lower? It's already very low, Ada shrugged. Ada shrugged. If it weren't for the fact that you saved me, the normal appraisal fee would have increased by at least a few hundred times. This guy is truly unscrupulous. Several hundred times. Sure. Hearing that, Yi Zichen took out 500 galaxy dollars from his wallet. Appraise 500 runes. No problem. After putting away the money, Atana's hand touched the rune stone. Not even half a minute later, here. It's over? Yi Zichen was shocked. He thought that it would take at least several hours. Yeah, Ada shrugged. Yi Zichen put the runes back into his backpack. Everything was as Ada had said. They were all appraised. There were many types of runes that could only be appraised. Red attack rune. Level 1 rune that increased attack by 0.2%. Green life rune. Level 1 rune that increased life by 0.5%. Blue defense rune. Level 1 rune that increased defense by 0.2%. Colored elemental rune. Level 1 rune that increased elemental attack and defense by 0.1%. The increase seemed very low. However, it was a percentage increase, so it would not be eliminated no matter what. More importantly, there were 830 acupuncture points in the human body. It was enough to embed 830 runes. If the stats of one rune were multiplied by 830, the increase was extremely terrifying. What caught Yi Zichen's attention was the scene of Ada's appraisal. He appraised 500 runes with a wave of his hand. He was earning money rather quickly. Yi Zichen squinted his eyes and looked at Ada. Are you taking in a disciple?